Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 3 Point Weekly. We are back today to discuss limited news in this offseason and what has been a very quiet offseason so far. Most importantly, to start our top 10 rankings lists, starting with the point guard position. We appreciate the few of you that have already showed your support in chat early, Mo and Garrett, for tuning in early, and for all of you who do continue to tune in throughout the stream, be sure to hit that like button down below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel as we do continue to push out these top 10 lists over the next few weeks. But before we do get to that, we need to discuss the mess that is going on in Philadelphia right now. It looked like James Harden was out the door, pushing his way out once again. And then it looked like he was staying. And now he has just caused an absolute mess between himself and Daryl Morey, and looks like he is very much trying to get himself on the way out one way or another. We'll start with you, Tyrik. How do you feel about the situation? Is anyone in the right? Is anyone in the wrong? Or is it just all a collective mess over in Philly?
I think the best way to describe it is just a collective mess, bro. Like, when I first saw that video, I really thought it was like AI generated. Like, I was really convinced. That's why I didn't feed into it. But then I seen Shams reported it, and I seen like 5 different angles. I'm like, oh, he actually said that, which is funny to do it at like a camp where kids are just there to see one of their favorite players. It's kind of funny, but it is drama, and it's Philadelphia, and that's really just what it's been there for like the last decade. It's always been a mess. So, I don't know really what to make of it, to be honest. They plan on James being there, but it's clear that he doesn't want to be. So how is that going to work? Is this just another Ben Simmons situation? It might be. It just makes me wonder why he even decided to opt back in the first place when he could have just opted out, picked where he went, and he could have avoided this entire situation. Now he's basically being held hostage. Could be for this next season that like they could just keep him. He might not play, but they don't have to move off of him if they don't want to. So it's a collective mess. Who knows what this means for the future? If Joel Embiid ends up requesting out, who knows what's going to happen? But it's Philadelphia. They just continue to not be able to capitalize on the play that they've had from Joel, of the ascension of Tyrese Maxey, bringing in another all-star, superstar caliber player in James Harden. It's just a mess, man, and it's unfortunate to see, to be honest.
Yeah, the way that he said that at that camp, like I can really see why you say AI generated, because he was like, I repeat, I will not be a part of any organization that Daryl Morey is a part of. He is a liar. I'm like, yeah, that's got to be fake. And when you because you quote tweeted it and you were like, yeah, I thought this was AI generated. I watched it and I thought you were being legit. Like, I'm like, this got to be fake, bro. So then later in the day, I see Shams reported it, and I'm for real like, no way he actually said that. And Philly's screwed, bro. Like, to me, it's over. There's really no coming back from this, because this whole process era, we've now been through 3 different iterations of this falling apart. I'm going to say they built up, but then they had what I'll call the Jimmy Butler era, which was very short-lived, but a very good team. And then they just try to really get it with the returns they got from that, added in Tobias as the main third guy, and then, just Simmons and Embiid really is the main duo. And then they changed it up to this Embiid and Harden thing, and now all 3 iterations of this team have really failed. And now you're stuck with an Embiid in his prime who keeps having a rotating cast of support pieces, and it's not working out. It's not working out. And without that consistency there, and with Embiid's co-star wanting out every 2 seasons, you just can't put a championship contender together. So it puts them in a situation where I don't even know how long the Embiid era is going to last around here, because he can't keep doing this forever. He's a big man on a limited timetable, because we know he's a bit prone to injuries, and that can cause big men to devalue a little bit quicker. They got to get something done, and I don't know what that is.
It's a weird spot in the NBA now where we're talking about a guy like James Harden who wants to leave, and he decides his best way to do so is to opt into his contract and ask out. It's such a weird spot with where free agency and just asking for trades is, and that's the biggest thing. And why like you said, Tyrik, I think it's just a collective mess. I especially can't get behind the reasoning of saying that this is fully on the 76ers front office and James Harden is completely in the right here, because you could have been a free agent. You could have just left. And the fact that, sure, you might have opted in, you might have been granted certain assurances earlier in the summer, you might have been told you were going to get a bag when you took your pay cut, whatever it may be. Point being, we know that backs are betrayed and things are not held to the word that they are given throughout the league, whether that be to players, whether that be to front offices from players. We've seen it time and time again. Loyalty does not exist 99.9% of the time in this league. Word of mouth and trust does not exist most of the time in this league, and that's no different here. And it's just in a situation now where Harden's put himself in a weird spot. Philly's put themselves in a weird spot. And like you guys have alluded to, I mean, they have some flexibility next offseason because they're going to have a ton of cap space. So maybe they can bring in someone, although their options are very limited outside of potentially Pascal Siakam if the Raptors are stupid enough to not extend him or trade him. But that's a whole other story that me and Gabe could rant about for 30 minutes. So we'll save that for another day. Point being, they have very few options, and they're now in a spot where either we know what Harden looks like if he comes back and plays on a team that he's not interested in playing in. We've already seen that in Houston. It's just not going to be a good time for Philly. It's not going to be productive for them. And if not, if they feel like they need to move him, whatever his trade value was 5 days ago, it's probably 20 to 30% less now. So they just got put in a really tough spot. And like you guys say, it definitely jeopardizes what could potentially happen with Embiid moving forward as well.
Yeah. Calling Daryl Morey a liar is just like kind of out of nowhere. It makes you wonder, like, what was said behind closed doors. Was Harden promised something like a trade to the Clippers or wherever he wanted to go? Really makes you wonder because those guys have had it seemed like a strong relationship over the last, decade pretty much, because Morey was in Houston for quite some time. So really just makes you wonder, like, what was said. I wonder if those reports will ever come out. But, where does Philadelphia go now? I really don't know, man. I mean, they were a game away from the conference finals 2 of like the last 3 years, or really like 3 out of the last 5. Like they've had a ton of opportunities in this Embiid era. It makes you wonder if they'll have to make the bold decision at some point in time to give up on Embiid and just trade him away so you can get something of value in return. Because like Gabe said, which is a very good point, even though he's been more healthy over the last couple of years compared to the early part of his career, his days are still numbered in this league because he's a 7-foot-plus big, almost 300 pounds, and he already has an injury history. That just doesn't bode well. Your timetable's pretty limited. So the next, I would say 12 to 18 months are going to be a very interesting time. It's always interesting in Philly, but even more so now because we might be getting to the time where it's like, is Embiid going to ask out or are they going to move off of him?
Yeah, and I really thought was going to comment, let's respond to this. If Embiid removed to Philly location, yeah, that really was not looking good for them. Mixed with his comments that I seem to bring up all the time of him talking about like, oh, I want to win a championship, whether that's in Philly or elsewhere. Like this guy wants to win. And the leverage situation is so weird to me with James Harden because on one end you have that, oh, like James Harden just took the leverage by really like calling them out and kind of taking matters into his own hands and saying like, I'm definitely not coming back, so they have to trade me. But then there also is that leverage of he opted in. They don't have to trade him. It's not like he can just leave this offseason like just for nothing. And so I'm not really sure how that works. And at that point, you wasted a year of Embiid. Like, you think Embiid's just going to sit there and take that? Because really, I think the goal for this year, as of 2 months ago, was going to be, okay, we got rid of the coach who everybody kind of agreed was a choker, and they got to like a game away from the conference finals and choked a bunch of times. And so they're like, okay, this is a pattern with Doc Rivers-led teams. Let's get off him and let's go elsewhere. And regardless of how you feel about the Nick Nurse hire, it is elsewhere, and it is a coach who has won a championship. So it's like, all right, let's run it back because we do have a lot of talent, and let's see if we can get further because the East has some strong teams, but when you have an MVP-level player, a playmaker like James Harden, and a scorer like Tyrese Maxey with the supporting cast they have, I think you definitely always have a chance. But now that you get into this situation, either James Harden's value is too low and the return you get back does not keep you as that level of team, or you can't find a trade for him, and that's just production that's missing because you're either getting not a lot back or you just have nothing there. It's just dead weight.
Yeah, it's going to be a really weird spot for sure. I mean, yeah, they've just put themselves in a really weird spot. Like you say, I mean, they're coming off Embiid's MVP season, and this is what they're putting around him heading into next year. But apparently, Garrett thinks Embiid's going to be a Bull, so no bias there.
I'm waiting for Gabe's take to
Bro.
come to fruition, man. I'll be watching Kid Threes, and I've seen that. I'm like,
Embiid is a Celtic, man. The Celtics
Gabe
are never
Cook,
afraid to make deals with conference rivals. I'm telling you, they've never been afraid. It's
I don't
just
know how
like
it gets
Kyrie.
done. Don't know how it gets done or when it would get done, but
Brother, JB
I would
is
love to see
gone.
it.
It's JB and Time Lord. That's the deal.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Gabe's about to get a front office job if that actually happens. That's
Bro,
crazy.
He needs one.
let me cook because, bro, I know the Celtics are tired of Jaylen Brown's left hand, bro. I know the Celtics fans are tired, and I know, bro, Jaylen Brown makes $300 million. He can go be a number one option. And listen, Philly might not like the deal a ton, but let's not act like Time Lord doesn't have a lot of potential still and has already shown really great things on the defensive end. And bro, come on. No matter how you feel about Jaylen Brown, that's still a very good player. And if Embiid asks out and you got to get something in return, there's a lot worse you could get.
The Bulls have a better package. Pause. Anyway.
Yeah, but Embiid wants to win, bro. Embiid wants to win. He's not winning on the Bulls. If they give up whatever the Bulls have to give up for Embiid, they're just going to be so ransacked that there's not going to be anybody around Embiid to play with.
They'll have Io DeSumo and
Dalen Terry.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's no shot. He's a Raptor before he's a Bull.
Oh God.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but that
Might
requires Ujiri to do a lot of things that I don't expect to happen. So that just points to the case he ain't going to Chicago. I'm gonna be honest.
Garrett is hilarious, bro. Man, but if y'all had, just to wrap this Harden talk, if you guys had to pick an option, is Harden still on the team once the NBA season starts?
That's what, 2 months?
About 2 months.
2 months.
I think they figure it out in 2 months. Because with his value where it is, I think the Clippers can get it done.
Yeah, I think he's gone. As much as Philly are probably going to have to sell short at this point. I just don't think you can enter the season with him at this point. You got to, even just for chemistry's sake, he's got to be gone. You got to get something for him, and I mean, it's going to be a worse roster, but you got to do the best you can to put some talent around Embiid.
I'm gonna go the opposite way. Just knowing Philadelphia, I feel like he'll still be on the team. You
think he suits up, or you just think he's still on the roster, but it's like not there?
I think it'll be like another Ben Simmons situation. I don't think he's gonna show up.
Okay,
that's fair.
Yeah.
Mo's with the majority as well. He thinks he's out of there.
He's gone, bro.
You know, we've seen Harden show up 30 pounds overweight and still show that he can still hoop, and then go be trash for the next 10 games and get traded. So anything's on the table. It's Philadelphia, so who knows? Yeah,
there's definitely all cards on deck for anything that could happen in Philly with James Harden, with Daryl Morey. That is a hell of a trifecta of things that could make for a very interesting situation. But I think with that, we will move it to the meat of the stream, and that'll be the top 10 point guards list. Just to make it clear for everyone before we begin, Kyrie Irving will not be named on this list, not because he is bad, but because he will be on our shooting guards list. We are considering him a 2 guard, given the fact that he is going to be playing alongside someone who will definitely be on this list in Luka Doncic, very much at the top of this list. So don't worry about Kyrie not being here. We have nothing against Kyrie. He will certainly be discussed in a week or two's time. But let's give us a number generator here. We'll see who can give us a start. Sure, we'll start from the bottom up from pick 10. But we will start with Gabe. Start us off for our first ranking of the 2023-24 season. Give us your 10th best point guard.
with number 10. Before we start, should I give my honorable mentions or should I wait
Yeah.
so we know who's gonna? Okay, so I'll give my because I don't know because you might not know who my 10 are gonna be. So maybe there's a guy you guys have at 9 that I have as.
Let's wait. Let's wait till afterwards to give guys.
Yeah.
All right, yeah,
Them
all right.
flowers.
So we'll wait then. So my number 10, call it recency bias, but here's where I have Jamal Murray. While Jamal Murray has not been an all-star player, what we've seen him do consistently when healthy for the past few years, and now that he's back in full force, what I was just able to see him do night in, night out for an entire playoff run, and what I've seen him do in past playoff runs when he was there with Denver, he's just, in no more complicated words, I mean, he's just a closer on a championship team. And that's not a lot of guys. There's not many people who can legitimately say, you are a legitimate high-level closer, a 3-level scorer who can score at will in the NBA Finals. He was just so impressive. If he was taking a shot, whether it's from 3, going to the rack in the mid-range area, he was going to make that shot. Almost every time. Like, he'd pull up, and I'm like, yeah, that's going in. He still has some, like, his game obviously isn't perfect. You know, he's not a great defender or anything. He's definitely a good playmaker, but I don't think he's like a top level guy, which is something you might want at the point guard position. But what he offers is so valuable, and I don't think there's a lot of guys that do it better.
Chad's kind of thinking your recency bias isn't kicking in.
I feel like the 9 guys I have over him are all better. I don't know. There might be some guys like I've made this take before. There are guys who I think are better than Jamal Murray, but I'd probably rather have Jamal Murray on my team because I think some of those other guys might be better number 1 options and are more talented players. But Jamal Murray's fit, and especially how well he excels in his role alongside Nikola Jokic, he's a better just piece to have if you know that this guy, like X guy, might not be a better number 1. Like, he's going to be a better number 1, but he's not going to be a championship level number 1. Whereas Jamal Murray, he's also not a championship level 1, but he can be a number 2.
Okay. Am I next?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Chad's not gonna like me either because I also have Jamal Murray at 10, and he might be the hardest player to rank in the NBA. Maybe outside of like Kawhi Leonard, like he might be the most difficult guy to rank. I've seen some people's lists like in the offseason, like the Ringer had him as like the 16th best player in the NBA. He's a tough guy to rank. I will take a page out of Gabe's book, and the reason why he's in my top 10 this year and he hasn't been in previous years is because of that playoff performance and just how he elevates his game to championship levels, as we just saw. Like, he raises his game like no other in the NBA, from being a guy that's not really an all-star player in the regular season, just as far as like he's not really in those conversations when it's around that time, to being he looks like one of the top 5 guards in the world when it comes to the postseason. So he's tough to rank, man. He definitely could be higher, but I would like to see that regular season at least not be as on par as the playoffs because he's so elite in the playoffs, but at least be in those conversations like Jamal Murray can make an all-star game this year. If he sees that, then I can easily see him going up above guys that I have above him. But right now, I'm going to keep him at 10 just because that playoff performance that he just continues to do is that impressive.
Yeah, Jamal Murray definitely deserves to be in the top 10 point guard conversations, but he's higher than 10 for me. 10 for me is a guy we just spent 10 minutes talking about, and that's James Harden. The name is there, the reputation is there, but the performances have just not been there consistently enough for him to be any higher on this list. Now, he's still a very good playmaker. He still has moments, as we saw in the postseason, where he is an elite talent. The problem is it's just moments at this point, and his scoring is nowhere near as elite as it once was. And quite frankly, there's a lot of elite scorers in this list, even guys that aren't on this list that are probably better scorers than James Harden at this point in time in his career. But his playmaking is still so good and so impactful that he gets a shout for me. So James Harden comes in at number 10.
If James Harden's on your list, I feel like there's going to be one guy that you definitely snubbed crazy. And I don't know who that guy is going to be, but I can tell you I do not have James Harden on my list.
You don't got
is
James on your
valid,
list at all.
but I'm gonna be honest. There's about 4 dudes that I feel like could consider stubs on this list, so it's it's a rough one.
I had 4 guys that I had to leave off. I did feel great about most of them.
I would say Kyrie not being on here made it a little bit easier to make that 10 cut. Because I'm like, I don't know if I want to leave Jamal Murray off of the top 10 list because he's just so extremely nice at what he does. But since Kyrie was like his basketball reference was listed as shooting guard in Dallas, it's like he's in Dallas now, you know.
That has been a shooting guard forever.
Mo's being harsh on you here, Gabe.
Dude, hey. just wait till you get the list, man. Just wait till you get the list because the other 2 guys in chat, Meals and Garrett, they're looking out for me, man.
They already know
for James Harden either.
We know Gabe. I know who Gabe has instead of Harden.
Do you?
I think I do.
I mean, I can give you my number 9 if you want to know who I have instead of Harden.
Go ahead.
So my number 9 is Jalen Brunson.
Okay.
That's not who I was thinking, but okay.
That's not who I was thinking either.
I don't know who you guys were thinking, but what I saw out of Jalen Brunson this year was the legitimate backbone of a very good Knicks team. Just the efficiency he plays with, the fact that he can shoot well, he can just score just pretty much efficiently anywhere, and his just assist to turnovers, just everything he does, he's just a very clean and reliable and consistent player. And for New York, that was invaluable because we know players like Julius Randle and RJ Barrett are so up and down. And I think you really saw that shine in the playoffs this year, especially where they needed his consistent production or else they were going nowhere fast because once again, Randle underperformed, Barrett was unsteady, and he was the guy that led them to the second round. He just barely missed out on all-star selections this year. So he played very high level. He might not have made an all-star team once again, just like Jamal Murray, but the things he showed me, especially in the postseason, was very high-level stuff. And I think he pretty much cemented himself as the best player on this Knicks team that people don't think are going – people don't think this team is going away. He's just that nice.
Yeah. Not who I was thinking, but I love the Brunson love, man. I got a lefty at number 9. I do have James Harden here. Obviously we did see the flashes that he could still be an elite scorer, but like you said, Devin, it's not as consistent as it once was. But I still think his playmaking is still super, super elite no matter what. Still probably one of the best 3 playmakers at the point guard position, in my opinion. Just as far as passing, pick and roll play, driving kick play, he's still one of the best. Even with that step back offensively that we have seen over the last couple of years. It'll be interesting to see if he does reach that new situation, what his role will be, how will he adjust if it is like an LA Clipper jump that he makes. But, I still think he's one of – not having him in the top 10, I think maybe a little crazy, Gabe. I'm not going to lie to you, but I do understand at the same time. Because the last image we have of him, he stunk. He was terrible in those last 2 games against the Celtics.
I just do not like the consistency out of him, man. I just feel like James Harden, he'll give you the one real good game he had in the postseason, or he might have had 2, but then other times he's just not looking good at all. Then I feel like he's often just banged up these days and isn't going at 100%. Going even back to Brooklyn where they have the playoff run and it's oh, now James Harden's on one leg, and it's his durability mixed with he's definitely not the scorer he used to be. He's lost a bit of a step. I'm just not too high on him anymore. I do think his playmaking is very valuable, but if I'm taking it this stage in the game, Jamal Murray's scoring showed to be so directly translated to winning a championship, and having him over James Harden, who he's a nice on-the-ball playmaker, but he still doesn't play well off the ball, which means he still can't really fit with everybody. He's still not really much of a defender, although we know his post defense is often overlooked. And so I don't he definitely brings something to the table with that on-ball playmaking and that pick and roll ability in a situation with Joel Embiid. But I just feel like his skill set is not as conducive to getting the job done in a playoff setting as with Jamal Murray or even what Jalen Brunson does. Jalen Brunson's not as flashy, but I know what he does is going to translate, and even this year it elevated in the postseason.
Yeah, it's tough because like Harden's still a 20-10 kind of guy in the regular season. But even with that being said, like his playoff dropping is still a big issue. And I feel like it's even worse now than what it was in Houston because, at least in Houston, he was still scoring the ball. Might have been inefficiently, but he was still scoring. Now he's just having, like you said, he had like 2 really good games in that postseason run. And everything else, especially in that Boston series, were stinkers. Like he wasn't even confident about shooting floaters or layups. Like we talked about this. So, no, I definitely understand. You made a good argument. I value his playmaking at such a high level still that I have to have him in my top 10.
Definitely intrigued to see who you have in your top 10 that I don't, considering you still haven't named him.
Yes.
Wait, Devin, who is your number 9?
It is also Jalen Brunson.
Okay, all right.
So you have not named
I'll
the
go first.
illustrious man yet.
I'll go first because I have
for number 8.
I got Jalen Brunson at number 8. For everything Gabe really said, he was the engine. He elevated in the postseason, and people were talking crazy about him going into last year, saying he was vastly overpaid, and he's probably on one of the best contracts in basketball right now. Could be an all-star next year too.
Bro, Garrett says Jalen Brunson over Jamal Murray is kind of wild. I don't think that's wild. Now, if somebody wants to put Jamal Murray over Jalen Brunson, I'm not mad. But the fact, like Jamal Murray, you got to understand, as great as he still is playing with Jokic's gravity and is commanding second option defense. Now, sometimes he does get very heavy defense, and so his scoring ability is not something that I'm going to underrate. But, like, dude, Jalen Brunson is literally, like, at this point, the main guy on the Knicks and was still able to go out there and put up an efficient, I think, like 26 or 27 in the postseason. Like, he played very well. His team just was not as stacked to go super far, but he played dang near as well as Jamal Murray did in the playoffs.
And Jalen Brunson was really good in the regular season and got even better in the playoffs. Like Jamal Murray was good as he always is in the regular season and elevated, but Jalen Brunson was really damn good. Like damn near all NBA caliber type good and elevated to superstar level offensive production in the postseason. So yeah. I get what you're saying. I'm just thinking of it in a sense like, Jalen Brunson is the number 1 option. I think I would rather have than Jamal Murray as the number 1 option. I think that Knicks team is better suited for Jalen Brunson to be that engine than a Jamal Murray. That's how I look at it. Like playing with Jokic definitely covers up a little bit of stuff that you got to do.
All right. I guess I should give my number 8 because maybe this is the guy that you guys don't have. I feel like it'd be pretty crazy if you guys didn't have him in your top 10 list, but at 8 is where I have Trae Young.
Yeah, you'd be kicking me off the pod if I don't have Trae Young on my list. So, like, yeah, I deserve to be canned at that point.
Send us back to retirement if I don't got Trae Young on the list. Come on now.
I'm more surprised you have him at 8, but I'll let you talk.
So Trae Young. So okay. Trae Young brings a lot to the table. Trae Young brings a lot of positives. He is a high-volume scorer. He is a great on-the-ball playmaker. But with all of the positives that he brings, there's a lot of negatives that come with Trae Young as well. He can give you 27, but it's not going to be very efficient, right? He's just not an efficient player. He can give you 10 assists. He can give you great playmaking. But he's also going to give you 4 turnovers, which is a higher turnover clip than pretty much anybody else on the list. Like, not to mention, he's basically the worst defender in the league. So while he gives you production, and while he at times he can be explosive, and like we saw, Rick always says, Trae can get you a game. Yeah, Trae can get you a game. But there's also a lot of times where you see Trae Young completely shut down because with he giveth, but he also taketh away. And so for me, that volatility is just that, like, he can be great and he can be really bad. Those ups and downs. There's a lot of other guys who I think are just a little bit more consistent. I don't know. Like, there is a lot to like about Trae Young, but I do feel like especially the fact that he's doing this while mainly being an on-the-ball player and not having too much experience off the ball. It's like, I don't know if I can put him above a lot of these guys. These comments are hilarious right now, by the way.
Chad ain't fucking with you, bro. And I ain't fucking with that either. I'm not going to lie to you, brother.
Yeah, I was definitely not expecting to see Trae Young off the board at 8.
I know Trey's like not everybody's favorite guy, but 8? There's not 7-point guards in this world better than Trae Young right now. No chance.
The biggest thing with Trae Young that makes it tough is, as much as he did struggle from an efficiency standpoint last year, but you also have to remember that he's not far removed from being in conversations with Dame. Now, given Dame just had a career year and that's changed, but like there was a reason he was in those conversations. He was that guy, and he still is really good.
I still think he's closer to Dame than he's close or at 8. He's closer to Dame than he is to 10. And Gabe's saying he's closer to 10 than he is to Damian Lillard, most likely. So.
I don't know, man.
He might have Dame.
People are saying the Hawks suck, but then they're out here talking about, oh, there's no way that Halliburton could be better than him. Bro, are we going to sit here and act like the Pacers supporting cast is way better than the Hawks supporting cast, but Tyrese is way more
efficient?
It fits him better.
What do you want me to say?
He just confirmed who he has on the list.
The Pacers are going to be a better team next year.
Yeah, they are going to be a better team. And do you know why they're going to be a better team? Because of Tyrese.
That's crazy.
Bro,
did you see how bad they got when Tyrese got injured last year? They were literally going to be a top 6 seed.
Imagine the Hawks without Trae Young. That is poverty at its finest, bro. That man's the top half of the league offense by himself. He can run out there with us 3 and somebody that's 7 foot and be top half of the league offensively.
No, literally, though. That's one thing Trae has not got enough credit for, at least for today's era of stars. Dude plays for the most part, especially at his size.
Yeah, that's crazy, Gabe. We're at 8. Devin, you still got to go, right?
Yeah. This is where I had Jamal Murray.
Okay.
I had him above Brunson on my list. The chip definitely helps him in that final success, gave him the edge, but I definitely don't think there's a clear case one way or another. I think those are very interchangeable, but regular season lack of success aside, we know what Jamal does in the postseason, even more so now than we did in the past when he had his run in the bubble. So I'll give Jamal his credit, and he falls in at number 8 for me.
Did we have the same? Who's your 10 again?
My 10 was Harden. We had the same 3, just different order.
Okay. I feel like those guys are like, I think Mo said it earlier, like they're all kind of close. Or at least he was talking about Brunson and Jamal Murray very close. I would throw Harden in there too. Like I feel like a lot of those, or all of them could be kind of interchangeable in that range, but that's definitely where they would be right now, you know. All in that 8 through 10 range.
Hey, I guess I'm just the hot take guy this episode, man.
When it comes
to the point guard position exclusively, like I really value just being efficient, and rounded. Like a point guard who's just super inefficient and is a volume scorer, I'm like, and not even just efficiency in like shooting splits, but also with like how much you're turning the ball over. It's like if both of these guys are getting the majority of touches on the team and this guy's getting way more turnovers than this guy, it's just like, bro, like I'm going to hold that against them. Yes, they can give me high production, but there's also going to be a lot they're taking away from the team. And as the guy that's initiating the offense, if you're taking that many shots and not being as efficient, you're taking away from the team's offense as a whole because you're the guy running the show.
I think the thing that I try and keep in mind with Trae Young, especially for last year, is one, he's always in like the top 2, 3, 4% in usage. He's always in the top 1, 2% in assists and assist percentage. Like he's always up there in the playmaking numbers. And he's doing this all while he has DeJounte Murray, a bad 3-point shooter for his position, DeAndre Hunter, at best an average 3-point shooter for his position, John Collins, basically a non-3-point shooter last year, and Clint Capella, a complete non-3-point shooter. It's like, dude has terrible spacing. At least last year he did. That's the other thing I try and keep in mind with him too, because it's like, man has talent, but specifically last year, post Kevin Huerter, that talent just doesn't fit, at least for the modern game.
As a point guard, the talent around you can definitely hinder your just overall production. And even with that, Trae Young is still putting up very, very elite numbers in a down year for him. So, and like Devin said, like his usage percentage is always so damn high. When James Harden's usage percentage was so high, he was always leading the league in turnovers. Also, Westbrook the same way. LeBron used to always be near the league, top of the league leaders in turnovers. Like, if you can find me somebody that's top 3 in the world in usage and they average like 1-2 turnovers a game, then have at it. But I can't think of anybody that's that high in usage and is barely turning the ball over like that. And it has to be the best scorer on the team and the best playmaker on the team. And close games out.
I mean, that's a very good argument, and I think there's definitely an argument for having him much higher on the list. It's just like these are all hypotheticals, and everybody I have above him, I've seen actually do these things. And so it's like, oh, yeah, maybe Trae Young with better pieces does look a lot better. But then I'm still like, this man still can't play off the ball at all. So I'm like, bro, like, I don't want to rely on hypotheticals to say, oh, yeah, if this guy had this, then, yeah, he definitely performed at this level. I want to go based on what I saw. And what I've seen from Trae Young is a lot of A-plus traits, but also a lot of glaring deficiencies. He's a story of ups and downs.
Let's go ahead and move on. Go ahead and give us your number 7, man. I want to see who you have above Trae Young.
I think you guys aren't going to like this very much because apparently you guys already found who the guy is that you don't have on the list. But at 7, I have De'Aaron Fox.
How high do you have this guy who's not on my list?
I'll get there when I get there. I will get there when I get there. Call this the hottest.
Somebody.
We are not forgetting somebody. This guy's about to have Tyrese top 5 or something.
Jesus Christ. Go ahead, man. I'm gonna let you cook. Go ahead.
Hey, you can let me cook. De'Aaron Fox took such a big leap this past season. I think in last season's ranking, I think I was the only one with him on my list, and I think I had him right at 10.
Correct.
And he proved me right, but he even exceeded my expectations because he moves all the way up to 7 this season. What he did with the Kings last year was very impressive. He took a leap as a scorer, as a playmaker, and I think what's really underrated about him is also what he does as a point-of-attack defender. His skill set being such a speedy guard just works so well for pushing their pace and running Mike Brown's system. And it's just finally, like, we're finally seeing things pan out for the Kings. And for a franchise that was met with as much adversity as they were, the fact that he was able to be the leader of them going so far, that has to be credit for something. Not to mention, once they got to the postseason, I was a fan of what he did in most of that Warriors series. Now, did they end up coming up short at the end? Yes, they did. But I do think his game translated a lot better than like a Sabonis's did, for example. And so being that he was really the main guy on that Kings team and played well throughout the 82 games, as well as that 7-game series against the defending champions, I value that quite a bit. I think he only goes up from here. I don't know how much more room he has to climb on this list because the guys above him are just that good. But I could see him just individually just getting even a step better this year because he's just now entering what could be his prime.
Bro, Chad ain't feeling you, man.
Bruh.
This is one of our more deeper chats that we've had. So first pod back in a minute. Damn. Okay. I guess I'll give my 7. And this pains me, man, because this is my guy. Man. I got John Moran at 7. I got John Moran at 7.
Whoa.
Might be low, bro. But I got to factor in the fact that he's already prone to missing time, and he's about to miss more time because of off-court stuff. That's just affecting it for me, man. You got to be available. You got to be on the court for me to have you in those top 5 conversations at the point guard position. And I feel like he didn't regress last season, but I wasn't as impressed with John Moran. And maybe it was because of a lot of missing time with off-the-court issues and stuff probably hindered his game. I got to see the guy can just stay on the court, bro. That's all we really need to see from him. And I wish he could be better as a defender, because I feel like he has at least the athletic gifts to be a okay, maybe at least average defender. But I feel like he's closer to Trae Young defensively than he is to being average. And Trae Young cannot be a good defender just because of how undersized he is. So those are just my things with Ja. I love the guy. I feel like he's a phenomenal talent. And, last season, I think we all had him like top 5. It's the off the court issues for me that is just hindering having him any higher than 7.
That's a hot take, but I respect it.
Yeah, I definitely don't hate it when you factor in the availability. It definitely gets interesting, but it's not where I have Ja. This is where I also have De'Aaron Fox. I find it interesting that you noted him after the Trae Young discussion, Gabe, because he's the guy who's on the complete polar opposite of where Trae Young was from a fit standpoint with the players around him, even specifically with Kevin Huerter being on him. And finally, we've been asking for it for years. They finally gave the dude some spacing, and they gave him one of the best screeners in the league, and man thrived. And Fox has always been good, but it's no doubt that having those pieces helped him. He had a great shooter in Huerter. He had a great shooter in Keegan Murray on his team now. He had Sabonis to open up a lot of offensive options for him. And still the credit to Fox. He had one of his better, if not his best, 3-point shooting season of his career. His mid-range took even another step forward this year, which even still wasn't given enough credit before this season, but even now has taken more of a step. He continues to be the best player on the Kings, despite what people might have said about Sabonis earlier on in the year. Fox is the engine of this team. Fox is the best player on this team. Fox is the only reason they had a chance in that postseason series outside of a few really good Malik Monk games, and it sure wasn't Domantas Sabonis. So De'Aaron Fox gets a lot of credit here for getting the Kings to have way more success than anyone could have expected last year, even me as someone who was quite hopeful for them going into next season. So De'Aaron Fox is at number 7 for me.
I got Fox at 6 for all of the reasons you guys just mentioned.
Yeah, that makes sense to have him there.
Yeah, he elevated last season, and like I mentioned with Jalen Brunson, like he took his game for that to be his first playoff appearance. He took his game to a new level, man, and he was going at Steph Curry in the defending chance, bro. He really balled out, so I was happy to see that, man, because De'Aaron's another one of those guys that I've really enjoyed watching him play since his college days, and so it was good to see him be able to be on a competitive team, and they exceeded everybody's expectations last season, and hopefully he can just continue to grow as a player too. Became a better jump shooter, at some points last season. I like how Gabe mentioned he was at least more engaged defensively last season. From him not being looked at as a defender, I feel like he took that jump to being okay, I'm at least compete at this end, which I would like to see. That's my thing with Ja Morant. I would like to see him compete more at the defensive side of the floor. De'Aaron Fox is able to do. I feel like Ja Morant can do it too.
Yeah, for sure. That was definitely the nice thing to see from Fox. I'll just jump in here quick while me and Reek continue to flip-flop picks, because this is where I have Ja Morant at number 6. So I'll let Gabe potentially ruin the flip-flopping, but
oh boy. So
go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
It's time for the hot take. The 6th best point guard in the NBA is Tyrese Halliburton, and here's why. Tyrese Halliburton is that offensive engine that can carry a team's offensive load. He does this with an insane amount of efficiency. Last year, just looking at the counting stats, you see 20 and 10 right away. That looks pretty impressive. You go deeper than that, 10 assists on only about 2.5 turnovers, very efficient in the passing game. Then you look at this guy's dang near 50, 40, 90 type guy. Just insanely efficient across the board. When I'm looking at the guy who's going to be my offensive engine for the future, this guy does that while just being so efficient. And the fact that he's such an efficient shooter, especially from outside, if they get another guy that can handle the ball as well to put next to him, he can play off the ball a lot better. And he did so in Sacramento quite a bit with De'Aaron Fox. You guys are saying, oh, the pieces around Tyrese are a lot better. Tyrese Halliburton was incredibly efficient when he was in Sacramento before they were really on shit. Those Kings teams weren't good. Are we going to sit here and lie to ourselves and say those Kings teams were good? No, I've seen Tyrese Halliburton be efficient with a subpar team. And the Pacers aren't even that great right now. But what Tyrese does, not only as an offensive engine, but also as a needle mover, when Tyrese Halliburton was playing on the Pacers this year, they looked like a genuine playoff team. Not a play-in team, but a playoff team. As soon as he gets injured and misses some time, They can't win a game for anything, and it made them fall off a cliff. They literally just never had a chance to make the playoffs after that happened. When he's there, he is so important as an offensive player. His defense, not good by any means. And I know I like to say I do like my point guards well-rounded, but to me, when I look at what Trae Young does versus what Tyrese does, Tyrese might do it with less volume and less usage, but he does it so much more efficiently that I would rather have that on my team. And I think he can also play better with a wider variety of players.
I don't know what to say, bro. I'm sorry. I really don't. 6 is wild.
You make an argument, but I don't know.
Yeah, good argument.
It might be and you can call it a hot take all you want. I think this season, and this might be my worst age take, but sometimes you got to take one. And from what I've seen from Tyrese, I'm going to stand on it. Like, he will look like a top 6 point guard this season.
It's a steaming hot take, man.
I think he'll be called a top 6 point guard because I think the Pacers are going to be good. But I don't know. Like, I think there's a couple of guys below him that are number 1 options. And I just don't think that Tyrese Halliburton is, at least not yet.
Nah.
I think that's the biggest thing for me. He can be a very good leading point guard. He can be a very good, probably number 2 option. I don't know if he's a number 1 guy right now, and that's probably the biggest thing for me. But very efficient, I will give you that, and very good for this Pacers team. They were 500 on the dot last year when he was in the lineup, 28-28, compared to being 35 and 47 on the year. So significant difference when he was in the lineup, but how much of that is also just because the Pacers literally didn't have anyone else to create offense on that team when he was out is probably something that has to be considered as well, because their guard play outside of that was like Andrew Nembhard, although had a very good rookie season, was still a rookie and was a 2nd-round pick. TJ McConnell, who's nowhere near as good as he was a few years ago, and still, again, like, is not a great offensive player. So there was a significant fall off from where Halliburton was to where the rest of their guard play was. If you want, like, Ben Mathurin to run their offense, again, as a rookie, much more of a scoring guard, that's its own problem. So that has to be factored in too, compared to like Atlanta where Trae's going to DeJounte, or where Jaw's going to Tyus Jones, like situations like that. So that's another thing that's something to consider for me for Tyrese Halliburton. But like you say, very efficient, very good when he's in the lineup. And I don't hate him being top 10. I was just very surprised by him being top 6.
Yeah, I feel like, but when you're like, oh, like, a lot of that comes from them not having other people to create offense, and that's like a knock against him. But then you're like, yeah, Trae doesn't have the best pieces, so that means his usage is high, which means that's why he's less efficient. When he has a DeJounte Murray next to him, I just don't really understand how that aligns.
Can you say that again? Sorry.
So it's like, brother, I was going to say it again. And he straight dipped out. But no, like, basically for what I'm saying is, like, I felt like you gave it as a boost to Trae that the pieces around him weren't great at providing offense, so he had to do so much. But then it's like, it's a knock against Tyrese that nobody else on the team was able to create offense.
I think what my argument is, like, the pieces don't fit as well around Trae, but when he's out of the lineup, there's pieces around him that are able to fill his role better, if that makes sense. Because, like, DeJounte isn't a good fit next to Trae, but when Trae's not in the lineup, DeJounte can do what Trae does from, like, a creation and point guard standpoint better than what anyone on the Pacers roster can do. Because DeJounte is more valuable to the Hawks when Trae Young is not on the team. Because the Hawks, pretty much every Hawks lineup last year with Trae Young and anyone not DeJounte Murray was better on offense than Trae Young plus DeJounte Murray plus any other combination of 3 players last year. Like, they were I think they were like the 22nd or 23rd best offense in the league based on when they had Trae Young, DeJounte, and company on the court last year. Like, it was a bad offense with those two on the team, or on the court, which is a problem.
The Tyrese take just made my computer crash.
Hey. Y'all can call me crazy. Sometimes you need a good hot take, man. And I have the argument to back it up. I believe that, and I stand on it.
Like Devin said, like him being top 10 is fine. Like no issue with that. But 6, basically saying this man's borderline top 5 point guard in the league. And I really like Tyrese. I think he's a phenomenal player. You just might be jumping the gun like a year or two too early, bro.
Okay.
That's a steaming hot take, bro. Trae Young's a better basketball player than Tyrese Halliburton.
All right. Okay. He's a less efficient one though, and I do value efficiency at the position.
That usage, if you can have a super high field goal percentage, and you look at Trae Young's true shooting, it's pretty.
There's a burning his router, bro. That's hilarious.
And is dying over the Tyrese Halliburton take. It is not doing well, but to be honest, it has the potential to age much better than some of my hot takes last year. So
I think it's gonna age well, bro.
I mean, I don't think anything's gonna get worse than my CJ McCollum take. So,
dude, you had Donovan Mitchell crazy low, and
I had Donovan Mitchell at 6, and
yeah, you had Mitchell at
top
6.
4 at least. Might
Dude,
have been top 3.
Nah, for people who think that these position rankings are always smooth and that I'm the one who has the crazy takes, this dude Devin had Donovan Mitchell at 6. I know Garrett's in chat right now and has Donovan Mitchell at 1 on the shooting guard list. Oh, there was 2 reeks for a second. I was like, what in the world? No.
Like the browser keeps like crashing. Like
we were discussing how this might be a crazy take, but Devin did have Donovan Mitchell at 6 when some people have him at 1 these days.
That's true.
There's been crazier things said. I think we should move on to 5, though. I think it's about time.
I think it is about time for number 5. I'll mention him since he's been talked about lots. This is where I have Trae Young.
Bro, it's just like copying like my list, bro. I got Trae Young at 5 too, man. I was pushing agendas on Twitter earlier. I think it was today. Yeah. I said Trae Young is better than Ja Morant, so I got to stay consistent. But you guys know how I feel about Trae Young, man. That guy gonna get you a game. He got 2 against the Celtics.
Well, here at number 5 is where I do have Ja Morant. He's been talked about a bit, but I've just seen him lead Memphis to a lot of success, especially in the regular season. Haven't made like that super deep playoff run, but Memphis has been a mainstay at the top of the conference for the past couple of years, led by Ja Morant. Very explosive scorer, very high-level playmaker. I do think he as well could up his efficiency a little bit and could be a bit better on defense as well as the missing time. There are some drawbacks with him as well, but I do think when Ja is playing at his best, especially when he elevates himself in a playoff setting like we saw really more than any, I think the most we saw that was really that Golden State series about 2 years ago now. Just that still is like so incredible that he was doing that at that young of an age. But Ja's special, man, and I really do hope he figures his off-the-court stuff out because I love when he's on the court. The aspect he brings to the game is not only just objectively good production, but it's also just so exciting to watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna address Mills' comment. The reason why I will have Trae Young above Ja Morant is I mentioned the defense earlier. It just bothers me how I know Ja can be a better defender than what he is. He just doesn't give effort. I think Trae Young gives more effort defensively than Ja. And Trae Young will never be a good defender just because that man is barely 6 foot and probably like 170 pounds. Like that man cannot be a good defender. Steve Nash was the same way. There's been a lot of guys, Isaiah Thomas. Those guys can't be good defenders, especially in the modern NBA. Ja Morant can be at least an average defender, and that man just doesn't give effort. Remember, Patrick Beverly was giving this dude buckets in the playoffs. That's my only thing. And I think Trae Young's more of a better playmaker, better jump shooter. And you can talk about efficiency if you want. Trae Young's true shooting is good enough, man. And especially with that usage, that high usage that he has. And that man has to play. He has to be on the court. Ja Morant can miss games. We've seen Ja missed plenty of games, and Memphis does not drop in those standings. They've been a 2 seed 2 years in a row with Ja missing a lot of time.
Yeah, those jaw plays defensively where like he just lets a guy blow by him and he just tries to reach behind him for a steal. Like those plays just make me so mad because, like you say, like he's got so much talent as far as being an athlete to be able to make strides on that end, and it just doesn't give that effort that you would like to see.
I feel like you'd have a similar take to Steph, Reek, because our guy Steph, Trill Buckets, he hates a lazy player, man. This is the same man. We did a redraft.
Bro.
Was it 2010? And he just never took Hassan Whiteside. Like, he just didn't draft him at all because he's like, I just hate a player who's not motivated.
And it's fair, bro, especially if you have the intangibles. Like, even like Steph Curry. Like, Steph's turned himself from a guy that was not a good defender to being probably an average defender, and the man just gives effort on that end of the floor. Like, he's at least going to try. No matter if it's Kyrie Irving or LeBron, he's at least going to try and keep a body in front. It does not matter. That's just my only thing. And Ja could probably be a better defender than Steph Curry if that man just put together 50% of the effort, bro. He just doesn't even try on that end of the floor.
All right. So is that everybody's number 5?
That is indeed everyone's number 5. Let's bring us to the top 4.
I wonder if I feel like the top 4 might be a little bit more boring, man. It might be unless there's some real big shakeups at the top. But number 4 is where I have Shai. Shai obviously coming off an all-NBA first-team selection. The Thunder looked a lot better than years previous. Big 30-point-per-game season on pretty much, good efficiency besides still not really being a great three-point shooter, but as far as his slashing efficiency and especially on the free throw aspect of it, he has been very good at what he does, and he just plays at his own pace and is almost unguardable doing it. If he wants to get to the rim, he's going to get to the rim, and the guy in front of him could be 7 foot or he could be 6 foot, and Shai is going to do the exact same thing, and he's going to do it successfully. He's leading this Thunder team to very bright things. While his defense isn't all the way there, we have seen really good flashes from him at times, and he surely has the intangibles to be really good at it if he were to hit a really good stride there. Really just what's coming off, like what's taken away from him at this point is just going to be some more consistency of doing this for a longer time, and definitely some postseason success in getting this Thunder team into the playoffs, but just what he's done over the past couple seasons, and especially last season, really made him jump up this list.
Dave, you had Ja at 6, right?
Me, I Ja 5. You know who my 6 was.
I was asking Devin.
Yeah, I had Ja at 6.
Okay. I was about to have a heart attack because I was thinking you might have forgot somebody. Okay.
No.
I also have Shai at 4, and he could honestly be 3 on my list, but I'm gonna keep him at 4 right now. Just because I want to see him in the playoffs too. You know, I feel like this is the year where they will get to the playoffs. OKC will, and he'll be able to showcase what he can do. But for everything Gabe just said, man, I mean, we saw this year defensively what we saw like his first couple of years. You know, didn't really get to see it much because OKC wasn't really competitive over like the last 2 years before this past season. But this man can get you 30 without even attempting a 3 some nights. Like that's just how good of a slasher he is. As such a good playmaker too. I love that he's been able to defend at the high level that he did last season, and he's only going to continue to rise on his list for sure. You know, if Dev has a top 3, I definitely understand because he was that good last season. He's all NBA first team for a reason. I feel like narratives have kind of been like shifting away from Shai this off season because people are like, I think, still very high on him, and then there's that one side of NBA Twitter and NBA fandom that's like, man, this dude should be becoming so overrated. He hasn't made the playoffs. They overachieved last season by a lot of people's standards, and they're only going to be better this season with a fully healthy Chet and just the guys that are going to continue to develop for them, like J-Dub, Josh Giddey, and others.
Yeah, Shai has been a really interesting guy to see in terms of discourse this offseason because, like you say, I mean, there's been Twitter rankings and different graphics that have had you like as a top 7, top 8 player in the league, which, like, don't get me wrong, Shai had a great year last year, and there's a reason why he's 4th on my point guards list, and he had a reason to be debated at 3, but top 7, top 8 in the league is crazy for Shai at this point in time, but I couldn't have him any lower, and Meals knows what's up. I don't know if I'm pushing this agenda yet, but I'm definitely pushing some crazy OKC agendas heading into this season. I've been saying they're going to be a top 4 seed for quite a while now, and Shea is the biggest reason of that. Coming off a great year. Very few guards in the league like him. Very few guards that we'll probably ever see in the league like him, especially in today's era. Like you say, Tyrik, who's just so good at getting to the rim, can get 15, 16, 17 points a night in the paint, add 5, 6, 7, 8 from the free throw line. He's just reliably doing his thing without even having to, some nights, even touch the mid-range, although he does have a solid mid-range game as well. But his talent is very special. And like you touched on, Gabe, hopefully that defense that we showed earlier on in his career comes back a little bit more, especially as some of the offensive responsibility gets taken off of him over the next few years, as Giddey continues to develop his scoring, as Chet starts to become more of a prominent feature over the next few years, as J-Dub starts to take another leap. So there should be an avenue there for him to start to show a bit more of his defensive prowess, because I think he can be a really good defender, and he's shown at times that he can be that. It's just going to be whether he can hone in on that and make that a bit more of a priority at some point. But number 4 for me could not be any lower after a great year from him.
I'm close to jumping on the OKC top 4 seed bandwagon. Like I'm close. I'm almost there.
I just gotta throw it in. I just gotta put an OKC player in every ranking just to hype up OKC every week.
Yeah.
The fans pop out, bro. So showing OKC love is always a W.
Close.
Number 3. I think we all might have the same number 3 as well. I have a good feeling here that we will, knowing.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah, it's Dame. It's Dame.
It's Dame.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Career year, bro. We'll wait to see if he gets moved, but that man was he was different last season, man. He was different.
Yeah, which is crazy that like he's for real been like this high on the list for super long. I think last year we might have ranked him a little bit weird just because he had spent like the prior season not really in. So his position on this list might not have been there last year, but for when he is in, like he's been this level of guy forever. This is no surprise.
Yeah, for sure. The fact he's coming out and having a career year at 32 just speaks to how good Dame is. There's no way you can have him any lower than this. In my opinion, he's got to be number 3. As great as SGA was last year, Dame's coming off a career year himself and has been doing this for a long time. So that longevity certainly helps his case.
It's just a shame how pathetic that team was.
Gentlemen. Do we have a debate on our hands? Because you guys know exactly how I feel.
And I do not feel the same way.
So I know we had different takes here a year ago. Has anything that's happened in the last year changed your mind at all?
Luka's still that guy. Luka's still that guy to me. Curry can give me the team success, but if I'm taking a best point guard in the league right now, give me Luka. Give me Luka.
Steph Curry's just a better point guard, man. Steph Curry's just a better point guard. Steph Curry's just a better basketball player, man.
I might have been swayed from last season, man. I might have been swayed. I got Luka at 2, bro. I got him at 2 this time around.
The majority has come around, baby.
I jumped shit, bro. But
Devin, you're on isolation island, baby. Curry runs 3-point weekly.
That second half of the season from Luka. That second half of the season from Luka just really it's just disappointing me, man. I thought him and Kyrie were really gonna be able to coexist more than they were. I know Luka was a little in and out of the lineup and stuff, but it seemed like even when he was there, even though I've been very vocal about just how the team has been around him, I've seen Luka be able to carry Dwight Powell and company and still look elite. It seemed like the second half of the season he kind of stepped back a little bit, maybe with the injury or whatnot. But Steph Curry was elite every time he was on the court, no matter if he was playing with Anthony Lamb getting 20 minutes a game or whoever it was. Steph Curry was still that guy. He was still elite in the postseason. And Luka missed the playoffs. I mean, that's a tough one too. Kind of got to pick and choose. But I think after this season, Luka will be back to number 1 for me. But I got to give credit where it's due, man. Steph Curry's the best point guard in the world.
Yeah, Luka's still just he's a statistical monster any day. And what he does is definitely invaluable as a one-man engine running a team. It's just so far we haven't really seen him coexist with another star and take that to a super high level. Now, if you want to consider Porzingis like a second star, I mean you can, but I wouldn't consider him that level of guy. And then they paired a star with him, and they fell out of the playoffs. And even with that said, now they still did kind of destroy their depth to do so. So I think when you say like, oh, after this season, Luka could take the number one back for you, that makes sense because we'll see what they do with the actual roster around them, see how Luka progresses off the ball with a full offseason next to Kyrie, and see where he goes from there. But so far, what Steph Curry's done for me, like year in, year out, can score super efficiently with anybody on the court, like you said, is the best shooter ever, still shooting at that level, one of the best ball handlers ever, the best off-ball player ever. Their defense is pretty neck and neck. Luka's bigger, but I think at this point, Steph Curry is a bit of a smarter defender and maybe a little bit more skilled, especially in passing lanes. So that's kind of neck and neck just because of Luka's size. But Curry's just a bit more proven. And the last image I saw of them, especially, not the very last image, but this postseason, Luka was on the couch and Steph Curry was dropping 50 points in a game 7. And for him to still be showing up at that high of a level this late into his career, Luka does always show up in the postseason, but it was not a good end to this year.
Where I'm at with Luka is I'm trying to not let the lack of team success be too critical of where I rank him because I didn't think they were going to be that great regardless. I mean, given I thought they were going to make the play-in at least, but I didn't think they were going to be an 8 seed before last year even began. So I don't want to look at Luka, who, in my opinion, probably had the best year of his career, even though it was ended by a rough stretch. He did have a career high in points. He had a career high in efficiency from the field. He had his lowest turnover numbers since his rookie season. He got to the free throw line more than he's ever gotten there. He had a great year. There's no doubt about it. And although they did flame out at the end of the season, and Luka was part of that, he did miss some time, and he wasn't quite as efficient towards the end of the season, although his numbers were still good outside of that. Fact of the matter is I just didn't think Dallas were going to be very good from the get-go, and they looked even worse from a roster construction standpoint after they made that Kyrie trade. Now, if we get into this season, and now with this roster looking, again, better, not great, I still don't think Dallas are going to be anything spectacular next year, as I have mentioned. But if they don't look bad as a whole and Lucas starts to not really perform at this same level, that's another discussion. But Curry continues to be great, but I just continue to see more and more from Luka individually, and he just hasn't had the pieces around him to succeed. Ultimately, he goes into last year and loses Jalen Brunson, is trying to play with Spencer Dinwiddie, who was inconsistent as anyone, a Dwight Powell, a very bad JaVale McGee, loses all semblance of defense midway through the season and has Jason Kidd not even know who's actually good or not on his team, is arguably his second or third best player, and Josh Green for lots of that season doesn't even get on the court at times. So there's a lot of extenuating and other circumstances in Dallas that make them not make the postseason last year that are outside of Luka's control. You can pin some of it on him or not, but point being is Luka individually had a great year. I stated, in my opinion, the best year of his career, and I have to give him credit for that. I have to at least give some context as to how Dallas got into the situation they did last year, because part of it's on Luka, but there's a lot of other factors throughout the entire organization as to why they didn't.
The man did play with Dwight Powell. He had to play with Dwight Powell as a starting center for like the last half decade. So
yeah, no, that's valid because, like, I mean, you can get into what ifs all day, but it's like I've definitely seen Curry play with a pretty destroyed roster and drag them to like still a play-in appearance, even though they ended up falling out in the postseason and be an MVP finalist while doing so. But at this point, that is like 2 years ago now. But nothing showed me that he's fallen off from there. And I've definitely seen Luka carry a team as well. But I mean, both of those are kind of in the past, so it's like, when it comes to what have you done for me lately, like I can definitely see you not wanting to just take too much of a sway there. But I mean, I think this debate is still going to be the same until Father Time catches up to Curry eventually.
I guarantee sure. I'll probably have Luka at one again.
I guarantee you I probably don't.
You know you won't. I'm expecting a big, even though like Devin said, career year for Luka. I feel like next season, even if it's not like career year stat wise, I think we're gonna see the best version that we've seen of Luka Doncic. Write that down. What's the date today? August 15th.
August 15th.
I know who we're gonna see the best version of, and he wears 0 for Indiana, man.
You probably will see the best version of him.
And I will say, all bias included, bro, that he is the closest NBA star to my current location. So
this man absolutely loves Halliburton, and he loves Mathurin too. You might be a Pacer fan, bro.
Bro, I love a good efficient point guard, man. Especially the passing efficiency. Chef's kiss, man. I love it.
It's such a
you
tough
play
one,
point guard, bro.
I love the Pacers, and I think they're going to be a postseason team next year. But
I think the reason for that is he's a needle mover, bro. He's a needle mover.
I feel like 6 is definitely more of a projection than like what we've seen. Like I feel like you're more so leaning toward like completely projecting like what you expect of Halliburton, and I still think he might be a year early.
I mean, what I saw from him last season, especially because he did miss some time, yeah, I could see the argument for moving him somewhat lower. And then obviously if you dive into players' histories, like Trae Young has a conference finals run and Tyrese Halliburton has him into the playoffs. And so when you look at like that all in context, but when it's like who this summer would I take right now on August 15th closer to next season than last season after this offseason of development, I'm going to lean more in the Tyrese Halliburton camp because once again, kind of more what have you done for me lately and what did I see from you last season?
Like Devin said, top 10, that's not crazy. He was the first name off of my list.
I get it. I understand. He's definitely better than James Harden, though. I'll say that.
Closer to who's your 5? Was it John Morant?
Yeah.
Closer to John Morant than to James Harden in your eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing for me. I'll admit Halliburton was low for me, but I could have flipped my 11 through 13 any way around. But I had Garland at 11, and I had Drew Holiday at 12. And I had Tyrese.
I mean, half these guys. I feel like this are so weird to rank. Like
the third guy off my list.
Half of these guys are like just all kind of bad defenders. So it's like.
Yeah.
Damn near most of them, you're just all ranking on who's better offensively, except for like really until you get to the top of the top, like Jalen Brunson and Shea are probably like the best defenders.
He'll compete more than some guys, but he's not like a plus defender, I would say.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's any positive defenders on this list. The only positive defender you'd get on this list is if you wanted to put Drew Holiday on it, and that's the only one. You could make an argument for a couple of average to slightly below average guys, but that's about it.
Drew, it's like really Drew in like the top 15, and then it's a like big drop off, like steep drop off. Like you go down to like maybe tier 4 guard defenders or something like that.
Yeah, dude, I feel like that's where I just take shooting and playmaking so much more important. It's like defense with a center is like me with shooting and playmaking efficiently as a point guard. Like you got to be a certain level of talent to get above that. Like Shea is not a shooter, but he's so incredibly effective at what he does that, yeah, he's going to go against guys that might be better shooters. Same thing with Ja Morant. Like the stuff I've seen him do in a couple playoff series now at this point is like, yeah, he might not be the most consistent shooter, but especially in some playoff series, he can really turn it on and then is just so explosive and effective with the things he does. So I kind of balance like talent and skill set with like, it's like of these guys that I think are on the same talent tier, like whose skill set do I value more? And then go up to the next tier of talent.
I'm gonna go off vibes.
That's fair.
Still valid.
A lot of mine was vibes as well. Like I was looking at like just so I had the pool of players ahead of me. I like just looked up a website that had like a top 10 list, and I'm looking at all these guys, and I'm like, who would I rather have? This guy or this guy? This guy or this guy? This guy or this guy? Kind of went like that.
I look at lists to make sure like I have everybody that I should have. But like I go off vibes, but like if I like how I had Ja Low and I had Trae Young above him, like I have a reason for why I have that. Like I don't just be placing people. I actually have a reason for where I put everybody. But when I place my list, it's like really just vibes. Like, yeah, this seems about right, a right range for this guy.
And 6 seemed about right for Tyrese Halliburton. What can I say?
That's weird vibes. That's a choice. I don't know if it's a great choice, but it's your choice.
I'll say this: Halliburton is higher on your point guard list than the Pacers will finish in the East next year. I'll say that much.
Is that right?
That is right.
Okay. All right.
That Rick Carlisle offense is meant to make point guards excel in high pace situations, which is exactly what Tyrese wants to do, man.
Huh.
True. Very true. While we're in here, we got a few people in chat. We might as well decipher what positions we want to do for a few guys next week as well. So we have a few that might be tweeners between shooting guard and small forward.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Well, because I don't know if he even would have been on our list, but since Bradley Beal is officially a point guard, are we still donning him the shooting guard tag? This is basically last season going into this season.
I'm still considering him a shooting guard.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think he can do anything to ever make me think he's a point guard.
I don't think so either. That was a choice. It was an interesting choice to name him the lead guard. I just assumed it was going to be Book. Book's a far better playmaker. He's a far better decision maker than Bradley Beal.
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting decision. And then not the campaign was great last year, but then you ship out campaign and say Jordan Goodwin, you have the reins of being the only actual point guard on the team. It's an interesting one, that's for sure.
What college you went to?
That's how
I
you
actually have
know.
no idea. He was like a guy.
St. Louis.
I don't know all the colleges, but I sure do know an Iowa State legend.
Georgia State.
That'd be the one.
Oh, you're talking about
we had
point
that
guard,
family
Monte
feud.
Morris.
Yeah, Monte Morris, THT.
God, who else did they have?
It's crazy how far some people dropped from last year. I just want to look at this real quick.
Arcidiacono
was from there too for some reason, but I could be so wrong.
He went to Nova.
Okay.
More Iowa State guys. I can think of guys that didn't make the league. NBA players. Probably a short list, to be honest. Did Frank Hoiberg go there? Nah, he coached there. Yeah, I don't even know.
But outside of Beal, the other guys for contention for multiple positions next week, Jaylen Brown. Do we want him as a 2 or as a 3?
My eyes, especially last season he played a lot of 3.
So I just put on my list from last year.
I don't know. He made All NBA as a wing. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's a weird one.
We'll see I think we just go at Basketball Reference for him.
Let's see what they got.
Or maybe projected lineups. Because I would feel like he would. Well, I feel like he would be a 2 this year, but last season he played.
Jalen Brunson was listed as a small forward on Basketball Reference for the last 2 years.
Brown?
Talking about Jaylen Brown?
Jaylen Brown, yeah.
Okay, you said Jalen Brunson.
That'd be crazy.
Dude, just for reference, last year I had Drew Holiday at 7 on this list and Chris Paul at 9.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
So
there was
I think
some
we all
big
had Drew
falls.
Holiday last year.
I had Darius Garland at 8. He fell.
Right.
Drew was an
I had
all-star. He was an all-star this year, and he didn't even make our list. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Dude,
that
like,
back half in postseason really killed him. But yeah,
Shea-
JB's being listed at 58% of minutes at small forward this year, 39% at shooting guard.
Let's go 3.
Okay.
Shea didn't make my list last year. James Harden already didn't. Or wait, no, he was my 3rd shooting guard last year. He was a shooting guard last year. Yeah.
JB was always on the floor with either White and Smart or one of those two in Brogdon last year. So he's a 3rd. And he made all NBA as a 3rd. So.
The other guy that I think we might have that we could think of changing from last year is Paul George. I think we had him as a 2 last year.
We had him as the best 2 last year.
We did have him as the best 2 last year.
Dude, this list is wild. I had Ja over Dame last year. But I mean, in my defense, Damian Lillard didn't play, and Ja Morant was like a dark horse MVP for part of the season.
Yeah.
I had Trey at 5 last year, so he fell for me. Obviously.
I'll never understand the Trey love. Hate. I'm not gonna call it hate. I don't think you hate Trey Young, but the distaste of his game.
I don't like players that are not efficient, bro. What can I say? I wasn't a Russ guy. Like prime Russ. Like, I was not that much of a fan because he was like Russ giveth and Russ taketh away. Mm-hmm. Players that have such glaring deficiencies, like, it just gives me bad vibes, bro.
I used to be an efficiency guy, but I kind of got off that.
Yeah, it depends on your role for me. Like, if you're that guy and your team is relying on you that much, I can live with poor efficiency. But, like, when you're Devontae Graham and you're shooting 39% from the field, it's like, yeah, that's a problem. You got to figure that out.
Brooks, you're like a 4th option, shooting 40% from the field, like 30% from 3. That's a problem.
Yeah,
low 40s and around league average from 3. That doesn't bother me. What Russ was doing, he had to do that. What Harden used to do, he had to do that.
Bro, Russ had to do it when he was in his prime, but, like, let's not act like he wasn't doing the exact same shit when he was, like, next to KD or, like, even after, like, later on. Like, there were definitely times where, like, Russ didn't have nobody else there, and so he just had to do everything. But there were definitely times where he would try to do too much and fuck the team over. Like, Russ he could literally win you a game with his play, or he could shoot you out of a game with his play.
I wouldn't say that's efficiency. I would just say that is bad basketball IQ. There's a difference.
That's fair. I think it shows up tangibly in efficiency because of your bad shot selection. Those shots aren't going in, and you make a bad, like, IQ play and you get a turnover. You know,
like Trey Young is not making bad basketball decisions. He's just has the ball in his hand so much, he's bound to take some shots that are going to hinder his efficiency or turn the ball over.
Yeah, the shooting guard.
If the Hawks are still an 8 seed this year, man, I'm standing on my Trey Young takes. I'll say that. They need to be good.
They're not. They're not.
All right. I'm sorry, bro. Like,
that roster is not. That roster is just, like, so poorly constructed, man.
Yeah, they are destined to be mid again, for sure.
They got a bunch of brand new wheels that don't fit on the car.
Dang. This is my De'Aaron Fox take from last year. This is what I wrote down. I had him at 10, and I said, played incredibly well after the deadline, but not the greatest sample size. Need to see a bit more winning. Could have the most room to grow here, but since we aren't projecting, I need a little more from him. That was a great fucking take. That was a phenomenal thing.
You damn near like predicted his upcoming season with that.
That was
Sure.
that, and I think me having that was might be my best take on the whole positional list from last year.
We were all over the Fox takes last year. That was a W. You just had him on the list to show it even more.
Yeah, I felt bad for leaving him off.
It's always like that with the point guard list. There's always a dude that you
Always.
leave off or two that has a really good year, and it's like, damn.
My hot ones that paid off.
It's gonna be Hallie. It's gonna be Hallie this
Tatum
year, and it's like we see it. We understand.
Tatum is my number one small forward, being better than LeBron and Kawhi. I think that came to fruition.
I didn't think anybody was gonna do it, so I stayed away from it because I didn't want to be that Celtics fan.
I forget. Did one of y'all have AD low? I had AD at 3, and I think that turned out well because I still would probably think KD and Giannis are better.
I think 3. I think I thought about dropping him.
I don't remember. I don't
I
think
got
I did,
mine.
but it wouldn't have shocked me if I would have had KD below him because
the center position,
me and KD relationship.
Center position makes me sad, bro. I'm looking at it from last year, and it's like Jokic, Embiid, Cat, Bam, Rudy is my top 5, and I'm like,
what are we doing with Cat this year?
I still think of him as a center, even though I know he's not going to play there.
Me too.
But like he's
Basketball
same thing with
Reference says
Beal.
power
Like
forward.
it just same thing with Beal. It's just like he's not a power forward. I don't care if he plays there. He's just not.
Yeah, that man doesn't do anything that a power forward does.
Because like it just feels weird to compare him in arguments with like Siakam, Zion, and Jaren. Like it's just not the same type of player at all.
Hey, let me put, man. I had Jalen Brunson in my honorable mentions.
I gotta put together my Mount Rushmore of fandom, man. I think so far, based on me taking players really high at places, definitely Curry has to be on my fandom Mount Rushmore. Probably like it's got to be for me at this point, all time. Curry and DeMar, and my new ones is probably like Tyrese and Jaren Jackson. Devin, you were in that stream, right, where I took Jaren Jackson in the second round in the 125 draft.
Yeah.
I still stand on that. Like, I still don't think that was a bad pick.
Jaren is still so underrated. He does not get enough credit. As much as people love his defensive game, like as an overall player, he still does not get enough credit.
Yeah, I had Anthony Davis at 3 last year, but I had 3 dots after his name because I hated having him that high. But I feel like he solidified himself last year. He had a really good year, despite missing time in playoffs. He was more so good than not good. The games where he was good, he was elite.
Dude, Garrett said my Mount Rushmore is horrid. Bro, come on. Well, I don't think me and Garrett are ever going to agree, bro. Kawhi, to him, is like the best player in the world. And I literally said on live like a week ago that Kawhi Leonard is the most overrated player in the league.
Cooking, bro. I had Lowry and Aaron Gordon in my honorable mentions last year, man. I saw the vision. I was scared to take that leap, man. But I saw it.
Lowry and Gordon? Did I have either of them? I don't think I had either of them.
No, I don't remember what I had.
Dude, I had fucking John Collins and Tobias Harris at 9 and 10, bro.
John Collins,
Julius Randle, bro. Julius Randle was a fucking honorable mention. I had John Collins and Tobias Harris.
I remember that.
Julius Randle.
I was not impressed with the Julius Randle take, but
even as big as Julius was that year,
I
had
Randle a little bit.
You know what? I had Paolo as an honorable mention.
Because our list is like half based off of last year, and you just said, put this guy down.
We
better
see Victor top 5 or what?
Dude, the way this center list is looking, bro.
Top 10, man. His center position looking deep.
Bro,
do we know where he's actually starting though?
I don't know.
I don't know if he's going to start at center or if he's going to be a 4. Because I don't know if they're going to start Sohan or if they're going to start Zach Collins.
If he's a 4, he has a chance.
Yeah, if he's a 4, he definitely has a chance. Because I don't know what I'm doing at the bottom of my.
I gotta go look at centers again, bro. Because he's definitely. I would probably put Wembanyama on the list over Christian Wood right now.
Yeah, but there's much better center depth this year. Much better. in my
You gotta
opinion.
think about it,
Because
though.
there's
Demontis
some,
Sabonis is a center now. We had him at the 4 last
yeah,
year.
Yeah, Sabonis is a center, and we're
and
keeping
Brooke
Cat at the
and Brooke
5.
Lopez has risen significantly. Porzingis, you're now thinking of as a
Oh,
5, and is coming off a much better year.
yeah. Brooke wasn't okay. I got you.
Got a lot better.
Claxton
He
had a
might-
much better year.
So does that mean are the boys back in town next week, man?
Yeah, what day? I gotta check my schedule, but I feel like around this time I'll be cool to record for real, like anytime, like early on in the week.
For sure. No, I should be good. I'll be out here on the road for the next couple of weeks, but assuming nothing gets too hectic, this time of night should be good.
Yeah, I'll just have to know ahead of time because if it's Monday or Wednesday, like Devin's pretty much not available for them right now, but I'll have to communicate with the KOT that I won't be there.
Probably a good day for me, to be honest.
You said which one? Which day?
Tuesdays. That's probably a
Okay.
good day for me.
Okay.
I'll aim for that then, and bring out the shooting guard list very soon then, because a lot less talent there, especially if we're moving a couple of guys off that list that were on the list last year. So,
All right, bro.
should be interesting.
Also, Derek White's probably a top 15 point guard after next season. I just want to throw that out there.
Okay.
I think I'm trolling.
Nah, ball Derek White. I understand.
Might be a problem. I'm intrigued to see him as like the lead guard, to say the least. It's gonna be interesting.
That'll definitely be interesting. But yeah, top 15 would be crazy because I don't know who my 15 is, but my 14 was LaMelo.
He was my last guy off too.
That was the last guy I cared to mention, but yeah, that'd be crazy. I don't know who 15 is though, so who knows?
Gabe might have the case for top 15 next year, depending on how next season goes.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I don't know who else I'd give a shout to there. I feel like there's a lot of good options, but no one really separating themselves there.
Red. I don't know.
Yeah, there isn't really.
Melo had a really good year when he was on the court last season. Like, he was playing so good, but his ankles was messing him up.
Yeah, it's tough to see. Hopefully, he can stay healthy, but my franchise can't get anything going.
White might have a chance, bro. I'm gonna be honest.
He might. I'm not gonna lie. There's not really a ton of guys fighting for that spot right now.
That's like, dude, just explodes and has an amazing rookie year, which is possible, but Derek White might have a chance. I might have to die on that hill. Might have to die on that hill. Derek White, top 15 point guard.
The Celtics talk we can have next week, man, might be legendary. If we record next Tuesday, man, that'll be Gabe back in the apartment setup, bro.
I thought you was there right now.
Not currently. You will see my COD Zombies posters in the background once again, making the grand return.
It's a W. Be nice. I'm looking forward to being at a regular setup again in a few weeks' time. No Gabe for sure. You've seen me for like 7 different setups this summer.
Dude, this dude Devin is always just in a random hotel room, bro. We only see Devin's room on Saturdays.
For a hotel, the connection seems to have been smooth.
Yeah, it's been surprisingly well, considering I'm out in the middle of nowhere, but I'll take it. Out in the town of.
You said where?
What do you say?
You said out in the town of where?
I'm in the town of Mooses. I'm in Mooseman.
I was about to ask what's the next KOT stream.
The next KOT stream tomorrow at 9 p.m., bro.
You guys both gonna be there?
I
I
will
think
likely
Devin's
not be. Yeah.
I should be there. I may not be, but there's a good chance.
Yeah.
And anyways, I ain't been able to watch a stream in so long because I be sleep around like 9 o'clock.
Yeah, no, we've been cooking, man. We've had some nice little growth. Garrett's running the show tomorrow, bro. The show's literally ran by like me, Steph, or Garrett like every time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it'd be
crazy
like that.
because
You
we
guys, and then I've had a couple, but
I think the only people to because you gotta win the mini game at the end of the stream to get control, and like literally the only like I've won it 3 times. I think Steph's won it 3 times. Garrett just wins like every time he plays, basically.
yeah,
And Devin's won like twice. Nobody else has more than one, and the only people who haven't won is I think Jay and John.
yeah.
Trent and Mo are like both one-time winners, and Jelson tied once with Garrett. No, it really doesn't count. It doesn't count at all. So really,
Nor did he host the stream,
bro. Whenever we're in trivia against Jelson and Jay, it's hilarious, bro. We just talk the most trash, but then back it up instantly.
Yeah, I haven't watched the stream where Jelson was there because when I was like able to tune in regularly, he was like never there for some reason.
Yeah, he was like transferring colleges and stuff. Now I know he usually isn't there on Wednesdays, so I doubt he'll be there tomorrow. But on Mondays and Saturdays, he's usually in
there. Yeah, it's probably impossible to really beat Garrett at trivia because like you see what this man does at Hoop Grids, bro.
Dude, he's just like I can't even try anymore. The only time I beat this man in a game is because it was a debate.
Yeah, it's either that or like you got to beat him in charades or something like that. Like,
bro,
there's no way.
Take it like super crazy basketball.
I was the GOAT at charades, Devin. You were there for that.
You were cooking,
bro. I literally answered like 6 in a row. It was crazy.
No, that was wild.
God.
I was just there to do the worm. That was my only mission.
Hilarious.
Dude, have you seen the clip of Devin doing the worm?
Yes.
Bro.
Yes.
Thank God I was home for that.
People know. They're like, what's going on up there?
Dude, the growth is good. I think we got 2 new subscribers during this stream. So that W return. Even though we literally uploaded a video like 2 weeks ago, still W return.
We haven't recorded in like a month.
Yeah. But dude, YouTube is phenomenal. Across the 2 main channels I'm on at like around 400 subs right now combined. Like life is good, man.
I'm gonna ask you about that. What's up with your channel?
Mine, bruh. If I'm doing this consistently, which I honestly prioritize more than my solo stuff. This is 1 day a week on stream. KOT is 3 days a week for stream, bro. At that point, you're asking me to do YouTube stuff like 5-6 days a week on top of having to make like thumbnails and stuff outside of it for the 2 other ones. I'm like, bro. If aside from doing a solo channel stuff right now, I'd rather just get to the gym, make some money, work, be social with like friends and all that. It's just priority wise, it's like when you're involved in 2 other projects, I don't know. Devin, I don't know how you do it, bro. The 3 channel life is not for me.
No, that's definitely fair, especially where you're at, still on the ground roots of your main channel. It's like, or your personal channel. Like, if I'm gonna be honest, if I wasn't making money from the main channel, I don't know if I'd be trying to do as much with it as I have been. And even still, I haven't been anywhere near consistent as I'd like to be. But like, I've still got a few scripts on the go that are just kind of in the works. But it's
record your gym routine as a video. Garrett, that's a W idea, man. I might become a fitness. I feel like for me to get consistent at a solo channel, I'd have to just do like fitness videos or like wrestling videos or something. As much as I enjoy basketball, there's only so much basketball one man can take.
Big channels, bro. I even think like 2 channels is like you kind of got to switch it up a little bit to like enjoy it still.
Yeah, Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's why like I try to do maybe not very different, but at least approach my main channel in a different way than I would anything on stream or anything like that. And that's why I dive so much into the editing stuff, partly just because it's good for the video performance, but otherwise, like it's scripted and it's edited, so it's like it's a different creative process. Because otherwise, it gets really redundant. Otherwise, I mean, like even just to extent, I mean, there's a reason why I don't watch like most NBA YouTube creators for enjoyment anymore. Like eventually it just becomes a point where it's just too much. So it's definitely valid.
Too much like basketball consumption, bro. Because I don't remember the last time I watched like any NBA YouTuber. To be honest, it's been some months now.
Yeah.
Besides like you or watching, I guess there's like NBA YouTube, but it's just like different. Like I'll watch like y'all, but like the guys that I used to watch like through the wire, Kenny, all them, I don't really like tune in as much anymore for real.
Yeah, I feel that. Gotta kind of draw the line somewhere.
It's okay because we're about to be that big ASAP, bro. Come on. KOT is gonna get big. 3-Point Weekly is gonna get huge, bro. The views are so consistent. I mean, sometimes they're stinkers, but bro, it's always a good day when Devin sends a screenshot of a 1 out of 10. It's always a phenomenal day.
I feel like that happens like so much more often now. Like it's always like either a 1 out of 10 or like a 2 out of 10 or something, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
Crazy.
For sure.
We've been doing this for like 18 months or something like that. Like, we've been doing it for like a while, like 20 months.
Yeah.
Even the growth
To
from
be
like
fair-
last off season to this off season, like it's so drastic.
We really didn't even start growing until like this trade deadline. I think we were maybe at like 40-ish subs.
Yeah.
So really, like, just once we started actually uploading like clip videos instead of just the full pods and really started taking off, like, it's been good. Like, subs definitely still a bit of a slow grind, but it's like view wise, like we could.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. The subs are always an interesting game. It's a channel to channel thing. Who knows, but the viewers keep coming. That's the main thing.
For real.
Because honestly, like once you get to 1,000 subs, like the subs matter, but like they also really don't at all. It's like it's a cool thing, but it really does nothing. So everything else
too for.
Yeah, hey,
we going. We had like 5 people in chat today being active. Like that's
for real.
We didn't even put a tweet out. We didn't even put the tweet out either. I don't think.
That's one of the best 3-Point Weekly chats ever, man.
The streets are saying you might record the pod in person one day. That'd be a
W. If I accidentally take that exit, we might. Bro,
oh my God, there is a Canada exit in Detroit because I was just there like a week ago. Bro, I saw that. I was like, wait, what?
Bro, I thought I accidentally took it today because I was following my GPS. And then all I see was Bridge to Canada 1 mile away. And I'm like, I know I did not take the wrong exit. And it turns out I didn't. But I really thought I was about to be stuck in Canada because I didn't have my passport on me or anything. So I was about to be cooked.
That's hilarious.
I don't even know what happened in that point in time. Like, how do I get home?
I mean, as much as they don't want people to do it, it probably happens regularly enough that they probably have a protocol for it. So,
because, bro, like you can't, like, there's no like turn off point or anything. Like, you can really just take an exit, the wrong exit, and you end up in Canada somehow. I think Windsor is like the closest town over. I think that's what it's called.
I think so.
That's mad funny. Yeah, maybe one day I'm just gonna surprise drop a GabeSlidIn video and it's gonna get 1 million views. But just wait, man.
Bro, the video content would be like that would be dope for real. But I was thinking WWE. Like I'll tune into that.
I might be the next big wrestling creator, bro. Trust.
I'll definitely be tuning in because I'm back into wrestling like bad now. Like I'm actually watching every pay-per-view.
It's
or
so
premium live
sad,
event.
bro. It's so sad that I can't ever watch Monday Night Raw because I have stream every Monday. It's like my
I never
Fridays for
really watched.
SmackDown.
Yeah, I never really watched the weekly shows. I just watched like recaps on like YouTube
Yeah,
or TikTok or something. But I watch every live event now, premium live event. Because
bro. SummerSlam in person, that shit was
I know that
crazy.
was dope. I know that was
That
dope,
shit
man.
was crazy, bro. And when bro, I saw the GOAT, man. Trust, listen, bro. I saw my guy live, bro. Y'all gotta remember to drink Prime. This is your daily reminder to drink Prime, bro.
That is your guy.
Man's giving up free
Not-
ads on the pod.
This is not an advertisement,
Bro, if
Be
I
not
ever,
an
if
advertisement.
listen,
But
bro,
we will accept
if,
payment.
if any brand I'm a part of ever gets a sponsorship because of me, bro, it's gonna be like Fabletics or Gymshark or like Prime.
That would be a banger video. Oh my god.
That
We're
would
gonna
be
get an
crazy.
in-person pod one day. I don't know when it's gonna be, but it will happen at some point.
Bro, as soon as we can get Devin to America, bro, because you gotta understand. I'm only like I can drive to Reek in like 3.5. If we meet in the middle, bro, from where I'm at now, honestly, if we can find a way to fly Devin into Columbus, me and Reek just both drive like 2 hours and Devin flies in, we're all right there.
Didn't we look at those ticket prices and they were like $1,000?
It is
Shit
insane. We're gonna need a different ticket market for sure.
No, that'd be crazy. There'd be nothing cheap out of here. That's for sure.
Like that. Airlines.
When I smoke Garrett 1-on-1, bro.
I do gotta get because Garrett said he'll be up in Detroit at some point. I do gotta see Garrett 1v1. I gotta get back in the basketball shape though, because I ain't
Garrett
looking
needs
like
to come to Columbus, bro. Reek can come to. We'll all meet there. Come on.
Hey, Columbus ain't nothing but 2.5 hours away, something like that. I don't even know if it's that far.
Back like the old days. He said I shoot like Kendrick. This dude's never seen me shoot a jump shot in his life. This was crazy.
That is crazy.
The slander is crazy.
That's
wild.
Garrett did beat Larry Bird 1-on-1 though. People don't know about that.
Nah, bro. Garrett beat Gel Pepper, bro. It does not count the same.
Gel Pepper. Justin is like actually tall as hell, bro.
Yeah, 6'9" is crazy.
Bro, yeah, I did let Garrett know, Reek. I had to tell him, bro. You do step on the court, you play very well for like 15 minutes, and then your back and knees just give out on you, bro.
I'll say this though, my knees have been feeling fine like the last like 5 months or so. Last time I hooped, my back felt perfect. Like it felt like good.
It's because you're not lifting with me no more, bro. You're not wearing it out the same way.
I ain't been in the gym at all lately, bro. I ain't had time. I'm waiting for the facility gym to open up more, and I'm gonna just lift at work. But I'm falling. I might not be benching that 245 anymore, bro. I'm falling off.
The fall from grace, man. The fall off, as J. Cole would say.
Bro, like you said, like how like you just don't have time to like focus on the main channel, bro. I don't have time outside of work to do anything. So I'm working like 55 hours a week plus. It's absurd.
Hey, I hope they compensate you well.
Oh. Yeah, I ain't gonna get in the numbers, but yeah. Yeah, definitely. Today was payday. Yes. Definitely living good off the money.
What we like to hear.
That much. But like I've been wanting to record. I took Dev's advice. I got like 10 videos like planned out. I just don't have time. And then when I do get time, it's like, do I want to spend 3 hours recording and editing? Or do I just want to chill out and do other productive things?
Dude, I just have fun getting on Photoshop and doing stuff with thumbnails and all that, which is why I just made a bunch of thumbnails before we got on here. Literally made a banner while I was waiting for you guys to be ready. Like I just get on Photoshop, and that's just like, as far as this stuff goes, bro. If a big channel hired me just to be their thumbnail artist, I'm set for life, man.
Post your stuff, like just post stuff. Like when you complete something, post it to the main feed, not to your close friends.
Yeah.
Or whatever they call it.
I couldn't spoil it before we actually streamed it, bro. Now that it's out there live for the world to see, it can go in the public.
Make like a little like portfolio, so like people can just click a link and see all the thumbnails that you made.
For sure. It's definitely a good call.
Just start DMing people if you really want to get compensated.
I'm a DM Mr. Beast, bro. I'm on that.
They'd be like, hey, I do thumbnails for this price.
Yeah, for sure. There's always people looking for thumbnail stuff. There's such a demand for that.
If somebody in the community wanted to give me a couple bucks for that, man, I'd be more than happy. Cause
Man, I know there's people that would, because like thumbnails are king in this world, and a lot of people don't feel comfortable making good ones. So
You make all of the ones for KOT?
I don't make all of them, and we split it up into thirds, basically. I mean, occasionally somebody else will hop on, like Devin or Garrett. I made like a couple, but it's usually me, Steph, and Jelson.
Still got a pretty decent like story I'm looking for, like I guess workload. Like you've done like a pretty decent amount though, so like, and I'm sure most of those videos perform pretty well too. So that's like kind of proof, like, hey, these thumbnails perform this well.
Nah, bro, the YouTube videos for KOT, bro, we need to get some views. They do not be getting the views. It's crazy. Like, when I tell you the duality of it, like, most of our videos get less than 20 views. Most of our shorts get over 1,000.
it's like, so weird. It's so weird. It's actually getting to the point where we've been doing this for so long, and I look at a new video and it genuinely pisses me off because I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. But I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually. But I might have to just start editing them like crazy. But I don't know. It's very weird. Yeah. But I mean, the thumbnails are good. I don't know. It's a weird one.
We're gonna keep on keeping on, man. We'll keep on keeping on.
Sure. Like me, who hate doing thumbnails, so I'm sure you can find like 10 other YouTubers that also hate doing thumbnails, because I absolutely despise making thumbnails.
What's crazy is, bro, I don't have this sauce if I don't go and delve into your old thumbnails once every 3 streams. So like, you really only have yourself to credit here, man. That's all I can say.
That's crazy that you look at my old terrible thumbnails for inspiration.
I needed to know, bro. I needed to know what was going on.
I just find something that I can make like within 10 minutes. I try to keep it as simple as possible, bro.
Yeah, I feel that. That's how I definitely was back in the day. I still don't love to spend a ton of time on them, but I get to the point now where I'm so picky about it, where like I can definitely sit there and spend an hour over a thumbnail and end up making slightly different versions of the same thumbnail. So if the first one flops, I'll change it like 3 hours later if the click-through rate's bad. But that's just because I'm over. I just care way too much, and I'm overcritical of things like that now. But
all right, Rick, is your new one? Is that made Soulmaze the font on your new style? Like, what do you know what that font is? Because it looks kind of like the one that I use. Because you started doing that Polaroid style, bro. That Polaroid style is fire.
Bro,
I don't know.
I don't get it, but it's been working.
Idea
from. I don't know where I got it from either. I feel like I saw somebody do it. I'm just not sure who it was. Let me see. Not called. I don't even know. Agrandir? What? That's what it's called. AGRANDIR. black.
Just realized KOT is exactly 243 subs and 243 views. That is funny.
Video. Yeah, I don't know where I thought of Polaroid style, but I thought it was fire. And my best like 3 videos have been that style. So I guess keep doing it.
Yeah, for sure. If it keep working.
All I know is
there's a reason why my team. I mean, I've changed it a little bit the last couple, but there's a reason why all my team videos have very similar thumbnails. It's like if it works, keep at it.
At this rate, by 1,000 videos uploaded, we're gonna have 1,000 subs, man. A quarter of the way there. Hey, we're almost halfway to monetization on that channel, so I mean, things are looking good. Things are looking real good.
For real.
The thing a little bit. It's still weird though, because it's not like you're fully monetized at 500 subs.
Yeah, it's like a little. Like it's nice, but
yeah,
it's nothing overly crazy, but definitely on the way.
I got my name. I might record that video when I get home from work tomorrow. It was about the Thompson twin on Detroit Azure. I wanted to do a video like in summer league and stuff, but I might have to switch it up a little bit, but it'll still make sense.
For sure. Yeah, I saw that, Garrett. I went into the YouTube dashboard today. I was like, God damn, one of you guys have been cooking. There's a ton of TikToks ready to go, so that's a W. But yeah, that's probably what we'll do with from today's stuff too. Most of this I'll probably make in the TikToks at some point because it's not a ton of long form stuff from this, so should be good.
Yeah, I know. You can get for a long form, bro. That Tyrese Halliburton fucking Trae Young debate would be mad funny, bro.
Yeah, it'll be something Halliburton versus Trae Young or something Halliburton.
It's not gonna be against me on the Trae Young stuff, man, because TikTok takes Trae Young, from what I be saying.
I guess I'm a TikTok merchant, bro. I haven't really been the subject of a KOT TikTok in a minute though. I've been giving mild ticks.
I don't know why, but y'all's TikToks don't always like pop up in feed for me. I thought that's a lot of people that I follow, but like I never see your guys' as much for real.
That's weird because they for real all pull in like 1,000 views. There's only one that for real busted, and it's a 2-second clip of Steph going, "You respect 3-time champion Patrick McCall. You hear me?"
Hey John, how you doing?
Good or bad? John, what's good, bro? What's good? Kind of watch you some video too. Jay-Z song. What was the Jay-Z song? You didn't know.
What?
Gary. He said I made one yesterday when Jay didn't know a Jay-Z song.
Oh yeah, bro. Garrett used a Jay-Z quote to end the stream and said, "Jay, whose quote is it?" And Jay had no idea. And then Jay said that A Boogie was better than Jay-Z.
That's crazy,
bruh. And I think it was either Mo or Steph said he needed his New York citizenship revoked.
Is Jay actually from New York?
Yeah, he's from Queens.
Yeah, it's been a minute, John. It's definitely been a minute. I should be back in stream on Saturday, so I'm not sure if you're around then, but
bruh, Jay probably likes Tekashi, bro.
I mean, Jay do have wild takes about everything, so
he's the hot take guy on KOT 4, damn sure. I feel like those first however many weeks you guys were going, there was always a clip of him like at least once a week, him saying something outlandish.
I'll never forgive him for sneaking Sengun in the conversation, bro. He said, if you have Nikola Jokic, Domantas Sabonis, Alperen
Bam Adebayo.
Sengun, or Bam Adebayo, you're headed in the right direction. He bro, he had some of the best bigs in the league, and then he just slid Sengun in there. I'm like, bro, Sengun is nice, but bro, let's relax a little bit.
It's so funny too because I'm very certain that was the stream that I said before we went live that Sengun is a fancy Enes Kanter.
Bruh, nah, that might not even be his craziest take. Oh, what did he say? I just had it in my head.
Kanter is funny,
bruh. We were talking about who's the best rim protector in the league, bruh. And this guy straight said, bruh, Bam Adebayo is the best rim protector in the league. He said, what's better as a rim protector than stopping somebody before they can even get to the rim? Bro said he's the best rim protector because he's a better perimeter defender. We grilled the shit out of that take, bro. I'm not going to lie.
And wasn't it ended by some statement to the extent of, is Jaren a better rim protector than Bam, or is Bam a better rim protector than Jaren? And he took the side of Jaren.
Nah, somebody asked him. It might have been me. I think I said, so is Jaren a better rim protector than Bam? He said, yeah. So I said, then how the fuck is Bam the best rim protector in the league when you just said somebody's better than him?
He said that a few times, though, because it was the same thing when we were doing that point guard debate, and he said Brunson could be a number one option. So I was like, so if the Knicks don't trade for a better player and Brunson remains their number one, will the Knicks ever be a contender? Like, no. It's like, well, Brunson's not a number one and a contender then.
Contradicting himself like crazy. But I'm still stuck on this A Boogie's better than Jay-Z stuff, man. I like A Boogie, but whoa. That's insane.
Dude, that's kind of crazy. I'm not even that big of a Boogie guy, so it feels especially crazy. But hey, there's some artists that just get slandered, bro. These 2000s artists are catching a lot of slander recently, bro. Between the Jay-Z slander, I'm not going to lie. I was not rocking with the Eminem slander I was seeing on the timeline.
Guys, that's facts. That is facts.
It definitely is.
I think A Boogie's better than Jay-Z is like. I don't think A Boogie on his best day is better than like Jay-Z's worst day, to be honest. Guy.
Just for pulling Beyonce, he'll forever be better.
Did y'all ever reveal his age?
Jay,
that was a big deal. Yeah.
We definitely talked about him being 27 on stream a million times.
I mean, we've also probably said he's 30 or older a million times, so I don't know if random viewers would actually know.
What's so crazy to me still, bro, we be grilling Jay for being 27 all the time. Like, Steph isn't literally 25.
25, yeah.
Like, it's not that much different. I forget how old John is, bro. John, you're here right now. I forget how old.
I think John's like 24.
I feel like he's like 24, 25.
I think he's older than the rest of us, but
brother, he's older than me. He's bro on the inside, John, bro. You are like 35 years old, bro. He'd be asking us about technology stuff. He's like, bro, I don't know how to use all this technology. I'm like, all right, Grandpa, what's up?
Yeah, that's not even. That's not even close to being the debate, bro. That's actually an insane take. From a New Yorker is even crazier.
They asked Jay straight, was Wilt's 100-point game real? That shit was absurd.
That was hilarious.
No.
I remember that.
There's no tape.
And yeah, I forgot about that, Garrett. When you said he had the tax the 2019 Raptors title because of the DJ Augustine game.
Bro, I think that was one of the streams I missed, but bro, I was sick. Oh, because I was in chat, bro, and somebody, I think it was Garrett caped the Raptors super hard, and I was popping off, bro.
Yeah, that was crazy. To be fair, he still had them higher than Mo, so couldn't give him too much slack. But
Bro, Mo was on my ass today, bro. He's a Hallie hater.
That was not feeling you, bro.
Bruh, nah, listen, Chad was definitely feeling me in the top 5. 6 through 10, they might have felt some kind of way, and I think most of it was just Trey and Halliburton. But bruh, the top 5, I was cooking.
I'm glad you did that because everybody's gonna forget I had John Moran at 7.
That's the guy I had at 3 last year, bro. That's a crazy fall off.
I think I had John at like 3 or 4 last year too. So like it's really just off court stuff and defensively. I just want to see him be better, but it's mainly off court stuff, bro.
Yeah, I mean, there was a point earlier in the year where he was like legitimately in borderline top 10 in the league conversations. So, I mean, that shows you how much the off-court stuff was playing a part, because it's not like he was playing bad before he started to fall out of the team.
I did the same thing to Kyrie last year too. I think I had Kyrie at like 8, so it's consistent at least. Like I keep it the same.
I think I had Kyrie at 6. He probably would have fallen for me. I think I probably would have had him right around Fox.
Kyrie was really good last year, man.
Yeah,
he was literally like, he's been a super efficient 27 for a couple years now.
Yeah, he really has. I think I forget if it was 7 or 8 I had him at, just in case we were gonna have him at point guard, but it feels weird having him that low, but there's just so many dudes.
Dude, because Kyrie, like, is damn near everything I said about Jamal Murray just on crack, because he's 27 in the regular season and just better.
Yeah, that's somebody who we've seen be like a number 1 guy, and his team was still really good up until he got hurt, which, I mean, they were still good afterwards, but like he was still very effective as a number 1 guy.
I've seen Kyrie play well with other people as well. But I think that archetype, like, yeah, Kyrie's like a souped up Jamal. Because Kyrie's another guy who he definitely can play make, just like Jamal can play make. But like, if you would call both of them more shooting guard type players and just their play style, like, it makes sense.
I don't know where I would put Kyrie at for real. Maybe around 7, I would say.
I'd probably have Kyrie right back at 6. I think Kyrie's better than Halliburton. I also think he's better than like Fox.
I would definitely like consider putting him over Fox.
I think he's better than Trey as well. So
yeah, 6, 7 range. I think Kyrie's always been around that, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think he was around like 4 for a little. Actually, maybe not, because like late Cleveland Kyrie, early Boston, there was like prime Russ, Dame, Steph, even John Wall. Kyrie or Shea, I'd probably take Shea right now.
Yeah, definitely taking Shea. He wouldn't get any higher than 7 for me, but I could put him 7.
I love Kyrie as a number 2 guy, though.
For sure.
And in this one, like how you said earlier in the group chat, Devin, like Kyrie's basically been a 2 guard since he got to Brooklyn.
Yeah,
I think that's his best role. Just let this guy just cook. Just let him cook.
Yeah, no, for sure. When he can just focus on getting his buckets and the playmaking is secondary, that's definitely his best role.
Yeah, him and Lucas should be special, because if Kyrie just goes to work, bro, Luka don't even have to do that much off the ball. Just be open to catch and shoot a 3-pointer, and you're good.
Yeah, honestly, just like it was post trade deadline, it's just, can the other guys do anything? That's really what it's just going to come down to. I'm not worried about Luka and Kyrie, but it's like they're heavily relying on 2 rookies, and I'm a little bit worried about that, because I don't think either of them are like guys that you're taking to win now in. Like, I think they're both going to be good, but like, especially in Lively's case, like, he's probably going to need a bit of time. Not to say he'll be bad next year, but he's someone who's going to need a bit of time to develop, and they're probably going to rely on him heavily next year. So we'll see. Hopefully, kid smartens up and actually plays Josh Green, but that's also part of it.
I think if if anybody can like make a big look good, it's somebody like Luka. So like if Lively can maybe like accelerate just a little bit, just because he's playing with Luka and Kyrie too.
Yeah. I'm not even too worried about how they look offensively, to be honest, because they'll be fine offensively. I'm just more so interested in seeing how those guys do defensively off the bat, because that's what they really need. I mean, they'll be fine offensively one way or another. It'd be nice if they can play well on offense off the rip, but if they kind of start to struggle defensively, that's when it'll be a problem, because I don't like, as good as Luka and Kyrie are, they don't have the complementary pieces to be like an elite tier offense. Like, they'll be a good offense, but like they're probably not a top 3 offense in the league. So they need some amount of defense.
I didn't like how they had to give up Reggie Bullock. I feel like he's been really good for them the last couple of years. Like Tim Hardaway's just like so inconsistent. He misses a lot of time too. It seems like Bullock's a better defender. I did not love that. I like getting Grant. I don't really care about the money that they gave him. I like getting him. I think him in like a more consistent role could be very like useful. Because he shot the ball really well from deep last year. Really, the last couple of years he shot the ball really well, even though on like limited attempts. So like he's gonna have a bigger role. He's gonna get a lot of open shots playing with Luka and Kyrie. But yeah, I think you kind of mentioned it earlier. Like you probably see them around like a 7 seed again, like how you viewed them last season. But they at least tried to like make up for the losses of like Finney Smith and guys that they lost at the deadline last year, and just with their roster being depleted. Like they tried, but how much is it going to be? It's going to depend on like the rookies that they brought in. Grant's going to have to take a bigger role. Tim Hardaway has to stay healthy and stay consistent at least. Like they got a lot of stuff that needs to kind of go their way, but they do probably have like one of the most dynamic 1-2 punches in the league. Like probably a top 3, like just 1-2 scoring combo at the guard position.
Yeah, I think their big rotation just took such a big step. Going from Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber as like your only bigs, like, dude, I think having like Rashawn, JaVale, and Derek Lively, like, I think they'll be decent.
Will Kid play them though? Will Kid play them? That's the biggest thing, because he still could play Dwight Powell 20 minutes a night. That is an actual thing that could happen, sadly.
That's true. But then beyond them,
lose my mind if that happens, bro. I'm done.
You put Grant in the lineup for spacing, then like Jaden Hardy, Josh Green progress. Like they got players there, man. They got players.
I forgot they had JaVale. Yeah, Derek Lively should probably, in my eyes, as long as like his like training camp goes good with him. Preseason goes well, I would want to start him day one, to be honest, bro. It's not even like about his talent. It's more so like there's nobody else in that roster that I would think I would want to start. And I feel like his upside is better than what anybody else can provide. And he pretty much did everything at Duke that he's probably going to be asked to do in the league. Like, he did not play out of his game at all. He was just defensive rebounding, setting screens, catching lobs. That's all he did at Duke. So, like, his game should be able – I would hope it would be able to translate a little more quickly than, like, most traditional bigs that we see.
Yeah, hopefully he starts. But, I mean, in an ideal world, it's probably him and Rashawn Holmes that are that rotation, and they're probably playing similar amounts of minutes. But who knows what Kid's going to do, man. Because
I still think the Thunder.
Kid's going to try and cook, but it's very rare that he cooks unless it's year one, so –
I think OKC so hard doing the trade of like Lively for like Case and Wallace, bro. Like,
I wish they had Lively so bad, man.
Like,
that would have been so nice to them, because I wanted them to have Taylor Hendricks, but I just knew he wouldn't fall that far. But if they weren't going to get him, I wanted them to take Lively.
He's like perfect for what Dallas needs, though. Like having that great offensive 1-2 punch. The offense should be like, dare I say top 10, but definitely top 15. Just having those two guys out there staggering minutes, like, they should be a pretty dang good offense. So having Derek Lively out there to kind of anchor that defense as a big is huge. You add PJ Tucker to this roster, bro, and bro, they look nice as hell. One real good defensive wing, bro, and they look super nice.
Come on, Dallas.
Dallas, yeah.
Yeah. I still don't
I still wish
understand
that
Casey Wallace pick.
Yeah,
I like him as a prospect, but I don't like him in OKC, bro. They already got too many guys that like kind of need the ball in their hands.
they just needed a strong side defensive big, bro, and they got the exact opposite.
The ball's not in Shea's hands. If it's not in Giddey's hands, I'll probably want it in J-Dub's hands, to be honest.
Yeah.
This is not going to allow Casey to develop like he should be able to, man.
Give me point shot.
Point shot.
And then it's like Trey Man's going to be fighting like to keep his NBA career and stuff going. Like there's just not enough minutes in that backcourt to go around.
Yeah, there's really not.
The Pacers are still better, bro. Hallie passing to Jarris Walker. Come on, bro.
It's just not true. One of them's going to be a top 4 seed. And it ain't going to be the team in Indiana. Say that much.
Okay,
I'm so close to buying in. Give me like
buy in, bro. I'm buying stock.
Now, to be fair, I'm buying stock in Indiana, too. I've already bet on their over for wins this season, but I ain't betting on top 4.
Too bad we can't gamble anymore, bro. We can't have gambling talk with Reek. Bro, if Reek gambles one time, bro, like the CEO of Ford is gonna knock on his door and
black SUVs are gonna be outside.
Bro, the Squidward meme you sent that one time, I was crying.
Bro, I'm finished. Yeah. Bro said, I know what Kid's going to do. Drink. He cooked the 2020 championship. Yeah, Jason Kidd did have probably a bigger role on that championship team than most assistant coaches do. We can all meet up at the Pacers playoff game this year. I'm down. We can do that.
The Pacers playoff? Hey, you know why? Because they're going to be there.
By the Celtics.
And the Pacers playoff game would probably be cheaper tickets than a Toronto regular season game. So,
yeah,
if I didn't have to fly there, it'd be amazing.
Bro, Mo just hopped back in here just to hate, dog. Pacers playoff game, bro. I understand you're from Chicago. I understand you're from Chicago. You gotta stop this Indy hate, bro.
We had 3 Bulls fans in chat at one time.
Yeah, that was wild.
Terrible, bro.
Forgot Mo is a Bulls
cheaper than a Bulls preseason game.
That's great. I gotta go to the UC for a game though. Like that's on the bucket list. If I don't end up working there someday, I gotta go.
I need to go watch Curry play at home so I can go see John. I'm gonna bring Garrett with me so that they can 1v1.
Bro, let's go see Curry play when they come to Detroit because I could probably get cheap tickets.
Hey, if you can get cheap tickets, bro, I'm there to see Kurt go.
Because I heard Pistons tickets get cheap.
Yeah, they do. They get very cheap. I was looking last year when I was getting tickets to the Raptors in Toronto. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna pay the same tickets I'm paying like $220 for in Toronto. It'd be like $50 at most in Detroit, and that's like 12, 15 rows back.
Yeah, so when Boston is in town, if we do play them 4 times, I will be at both road games in Detroit.
For sure. Yeah, I remember.
I haven't been to a game in so long.
I remember thinking of games to go into. I remember my buddy I forget where he was in Cali. But it was somewhere I forget if it was in and around in LA or the Bay or wherever it was. He was somewhere in the area of the Kings Clippers game last year. That was that however many overtime high scoring game. And I told him before he went down there, I was like, that's going to be a good game. Like, you should go to that. And sure enough, he didn't go. He texted me the next morning. It's like, man, that's a crazy game to miss.
Bruh, yes. Gotta get the 1v1 going, bro. Got to get back in shape though, so that's the main thing for me. I got to get back in shape. Bro, tickets in the Bay have to be absurd.
No, for sure.
You're probably paying like rent for like mid tickets. Shout out to Mo for subscribing to the channel. My guy.
Kings games for $8 to $15. Yeah, that's crazy. And if you could have told me I could see De'Aaron Fox for $15, man, I don't care who else is on that team. I got De'Aaron Fox to watch.
I'm going to go see
Even tickets at that point. See you in the Bay, Jonathan. That's crazy. Yeah. I feel like Dubs tickets probably has always been kind of bad, but over the last 10 years, they're probably like, we're probably paying $200 for like bad seats.
Bro, Garrett's making the meme collection of all of us, bro. He's got one of Devin, one of John, one of me at least. Bro, what is the one
The Devin one?
bro?
I had that one saved to the camera roll.
Bro, it's nasty and I love it or whatever.
Bruh.
It's so funny. Yeah, it's so nasty. I love it.
Made one day. I don't be saying quote worthy stuff though.
I don't know, Reek. You might have. I feel like you have a couple quotables, bro. Most of it is just you being my biggest hater, bro. I've spread the she hates little legs mentality to so many people. She hates little legs and get it up or die.
Hey, I can't take credit for Get It Up or Die, man. That's my guy Mike from back home. He came up with that, and I just had to spread the love, man.
Trey will get you a game. He's a Celtic. There's a lot of Reek quotables, bro. There's a lot of Reek quotables out there.
Celtic, man.
Somebody's got to be your biggest hater. You definitely said that a couple of times.
Man. Trey will get you a game. That's like whenever 3 Point Weekly merch comes out, I need that on like a hat or something. Like that has to be made. Trey will get you a game. Might get gentleman sweat, but he will get you a game.
He got him 2 games against your Celtics, man.
Yeah, he got 3. Playing game and 2 against Boston.
Mm. Yeah, for real. And to slowly progressing until he's in year 15 and he'll get you 7 games.
There's been a year where he won 8 playoff games. Actually, he won 9 playoff games? Yeah, they got gentlemen swept in the conference finals. 10? Did they go 6 with the Bucks?
Yeah, they went 2.
What the fuck?
That whole conference finals feels like a fever dream. Like I really don't remember it. Remember Trey dropped like 50 in game 1, and then all I remember was he got hot and Chris Middleton like dropped 20 in the 4th quarter. That's all I remember.
Dang! Shout out to John for being a dad, bro. It's been real, bro.
All right, then John, appreciate you dropping by.
No, for sure.
That's John the father, man. What can we say? Just like I'm Garrett's father in hoops, but you know.
I would never let somebody talk to me like that, but
Hey,
it ain't me.
I have nothing to lose and everything to gain, bro.
It ain't me.
Garrett's undefeated in 1v1s, bro. If I win, I'm the first L he's taken.
Garrett really never lost on the channel.
Bruh, if Garrett wins, bro, nobody's gonna remember because it's just another. I'm a statistic, bro.
Part of the Jeopardy.
What's crap, bro? I don't listen, bro. I used to feel bad about that, but these days, after seeing what Garrett's done in some of these Kia 3s mini games, bro, I know I have good trivia knowledge because, bro, I've won more games than at least 6 of the people in KOT, and I'm tied with 1. The only person who's won more than me is Garrett, which means that everybody who is not named Garrett or Reek, I got a good shot in the trivia, man. I'm like an A tier. You two are just the S tier.
I lost my last time out there. I might have fell a little bit.
Hey, you can't be a winner every day, man. Michael Jordan doesn't have 15 rings.
Russell has 11 and 13 years, though.
Hey, you still wasn't a winner every time. Your win rate is dang near 11 out of 13.
I think Garrett's either 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6.
That's wicked.
It's the man who knows hoops.
I kind of got lucky sometimes. Like the 20, I think it was 20 questions. Like every round, my opponent never guessed it or something like that.
I got hoed in puzzle block because I didn't know what college Chris Middleton went to, and I knew I was facing Reek, so I was cooked.
I think there was one quiz like
isn't it?
Yeah,
it's A&M, right?
Yeah.
Come on, bro, right here.
The puzzle block was like it was so long ago. I barely even remember. Bro, I gotta go back and watch that video because I don't even remember. I just remember I think I got it in like 3 or 4 guesses or something like that. I don't even remember who the player was or anything. So long ago.
I gotta go look at this Garrett video, bro. I don't think I've ever actually watched the full thing on the puzzle block.
I usually do watch them all the way through. I like to see how other people did.
I don't know, bro. Why are some people's screens so dark? That is mad funny.
Yeah, you get a real variation of setups in those videos. That's for sure.
His guy Chad, bruh, very dark setup going against John. Reliable rants versus Jelson. Dude, Jelson's setup is hilarious. He's always in the darkest fucking room, dog.
That's a funny guy.
Oh, bro, I forgot, bro. My matchup with G, bro. I'm 2-0 against G, bro. I own him.
Oh, you beat him again? That's tough.
I'm 2-0 against G, bro.
That's tough. Yeah, over, bro.
Dang, yeah, nah. I don't. Hey, it looks like I don't get eliminated until very deep into the video. When do I get? Let's see here. I'm at the 43-minute mark of a 53-minute video. Wait.
Solid.
Wait.
Bruh. I was cooking in puzzle block, but I didn't get eliminated till 46 and a half minutes in.
Solid.
I'm about to get eliminated like 10 minutes into the next video. Yeah. Damn, how did I get LeBron wrong? I don't know how I got LeBron wrong, bro.
What it has, bruh. It's 27-8-8, bro. Everybody knows that.
He said it at 27.5.
Yeah, those ones are annoying. That I had one like that too, and given I had a lot wrong in my second round, but that's how I was with Ben Matherin too. Because he gave me 16.5, and I was like, "Fuck!" I know he got 16 point something.
Nah, because bro,
didn't remember what he ended on.
If it was over 27.5, people would definitely glaze and say that he averaged 28, 8, and 8 for his career.
No, see, I thought it was like slightly over 27.5 because he's been averaging like 30 the last like 2 years. So like I just assumed it would be over, but it was still under. I guess that's just because he's played like a million games.
Yeah, it's the thing with LeBron. It's like 2 seasons at this point is like not even like 15% of his career games played. So,
dude, being a fucking 19-time All-Star is ridiculous. That shit is ridiculous. I'm 20 years old and he's been an All-Star 19 times.
it is pretty wild.
He turned 20. I think the last guy was Rudy Tomjanovich, and it was like 16 points per game or something like that. I think I get the under, and it was over. I forgot he was actually nice.
Looks like Reek's reign of terror lives on.
Might be done with
somebody
LeBron
said
nowadays, though.
somebody said, is that really the only nickname for Saboner? That was on my matchup. I got the hint that said his nickname is Domas, and it made it like so obvious.
Yeah, that's a crazy hint.
Hey, people my reign is over. Yeah, Steph went and had the game of his life, bro. Like the fact you went 10 out of 10 and you were 0.02 off of the tiebreaker. Like I said earlier, you deserve that win. Like if you don't win that, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, nah. Steph is a ball knower, bro. There's levels to it.
He is a ball knower.
I gotta respect the ball knowledge because there's times where I know I got somebody beat on the ball knowledge. With him, it's very formidable every time.
He might be one of the few guys that can go college for college with me. So I think he could put up a good fight.
Is that right?
From what I've seen, I feel like he knows his stuff.
I think if anyone would do it, he would be the guy to be able to do it. It's a very short list.
You know what college Lenny Wilkins went to?
I have no idea.
He was one of the random players on Basketball Reference.
Give me some hints.
It's a school named after a city in New England.
City in New England?
Yeah. No.
To be honest, I have no idea.
Providence.
Big East School. The city of New England, I forgot. Nobody thinks of Rhode Island, bro. Come on now.
For real? So does that mean you know what college Lindy Waters went to?
Oh. Is it a mid-major? He's got to be a mid-major guy.
No.
He's a Power 5 guy. Give me a side of the country. East Coast, West Coast.
Big 12. Same school as the Celtics legend.
Are you trolling or are you like that serious?
Nah. You said what school?
Kansas?
Nah, he's an Oklahoma State guy.
Oh, Marcus Smart.
Wow, wait. I know you know this one. This is another basketball reference random player. Carson Edwards.
Oh, that's Purdue. Yeah.
All right, everybody's got to know that one.
1 to 3. Yeah, I mean, I did not know Lindy Waters until like whenever he stepped on the NBA court. To be honest.
Well, I might call it here, fellas, because the 5:30 a.m. alarm is going to hit rough.
It's my 6 a.m. alarm, brother. Same for that.
I definitely understand.
Good to be back, though, man.
W
needing the
grand
stream.
return though. W grand return.
Definitely nice to be back. We appreciate everyone that tuned in throughout. Appreciate you, Garrett, for being here the entire time, as you often are. If anyone is still here, we appreciate you for tuning into the stream. Be sure to hit that like button down below if you have not yet, and be sure to subscribe. We'll be sure to have a lot of TikTok content from a lot of debates throughout the stream as we were making these lists, so we'll have that coming over the next few weeks. And we will have our top 10 shooting guard lists coming very soon as well in a stream in the next week or so. But until then, hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.